focus was on the Swiper. They do pick up the kill onto Vi in return, though. That is Rippy falling over. Culling comes out as well. Doesn't cull anyone down, though. True Shot Barrage in return. Radio in trouble. Oh, there's a shockwave. That was dirty across the back. Swiffer picks up an instant double kill, and that fight was bananas right there.
Yeah, and you know what? Look at this. BMA, he's up at the rest of Frenetic Array. They're not up for another 40 seconds. This could be the game for Team Immunity.
Looks like it will be as well. BMA just going to get melted down, and you know, a little bit unfortunate there coming out of the side of Frenetic Array. They were looking so fantastic, and you know, great job to Immunity being able to close that one out. They had a tough game, I have to say, in the early game, but they win out the series in 2 games, and both of them actually taking a while to complete there. So good job to Immunity.
Yeah, fantastic play there by Immunity, and that last fight, they just positioned so well. And I think the issue for Frenetic Array is that they maybe tried too hard to engage once they saw that shockwave was used. Took too much damage coming in. Immunity, they punished them for it. So well played to Immunity. Bad luck, but also well played to Frey. You know, they put up a really good showing this series. Plays 2, you know, relatively long games, and Frey, they can't be too disappointed with that.
Yeah, definitely, you know, getting a little bit back after the Cybergamer Pro League event. But that will be Team Immunity going on to the grand finals here against Little Wraith. And man, I can't wait to see this one. If anyone is going to take out the giants that Immunity are, it's got to be Little Wraith. They have been playing fantastically for the Go4LoL series this month, taking out a lot of the titles. So can't wait to see that game. It'll be coming up very soon. My name is Players Casting with GoGoGadget, and I think we'll have Mr. Baneblade stepping in for that one. But we'll be right back. Stay with us here at ESL. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Go4LoL November Finals. The Grand Finals are here now. My name is Place, and I'm going to be casting this one with Mr. Baneblade here for ESL, and it's between Little Wraith and Team Immunity, the powerhouses of Australia.
Yeah, that's right, Place. They really have been the shining lights of the Australian scene recently. Little Wraith coming off the back of a pretty good performance in the IEM Singapore qualifiers, beating out Mineski. Did finally go down to Kuala Lumpur Hunters though, but pretty good and pretty impressive results from them on the international stage. And Immunity, of course, coming back from WCG, where they did go 2-2 in the group stages, losing to the very famous team CJ Enters Blaze. But it was a very good game, and I think it was 5-1 at one point, so all congratulations onto Immunity for that very impressive game. We are into picks and bans. I can finally see them. And first cab off the rank is going to be Syndra taken away from Swiffer, and pretty targeted ban there.
Yeah, the Lucian as well from Raider, so no chances of that getting through. Kassadin also banned out, and that's something we haven't seen yet from Immunity in this tournament, but, you know, Swiffer definitely known for his Kassadin. Annie and Jinx banned out there against Little Wraith. I always see that LW and think Last Whisper, but hey, Nidalee banned out as well. That one's against Joshi, and these three champions targeted there at the bot lane, so Trashboat and Charlie101, as well as Joshi in that mid lane. And for Little Wraith, for you that don't know, may not have seen these guys very much, that is their three most played and won with champions, like by a huge mile. The Annie Jinx combo, they play all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And interesting to see Immunity banning out that bot lane. It's not something you see from Immunity all the time. They do have a pretty confident star-studded duo there. Raider and Rosie really love to lap up that limelight, and to ban away that they potentially play themselves, Venom, Rosie, being a very good Annie player. Interesting to see that they respect Trashboat and Charlie that much.
Yeah, and interesting that they've locked in the Sivir. I'm going to assume that this is in the bot lane. We've seen some crazy stuff from Immunity, but you know, unless that's for a weird lane setup, that's a very, very interesting early pick, especially against a Shyvana, something that's, you know, not really going to demand that spell shield. Joshi going to be going with the Gragas here, though. He's just hovering right now, but it's going to be locked in, I'd assume. You know, that or the Orianna, his two most favorite champions. Could see the Ziggs pick up as well. It is open, but at least instantly locked in for Chelpster as well.
Yeah, and the first pick Shyvana is so big, so huge to have that taken away. And, sorry, to be taken away from Immunity, so not going to be able to take that in the top lane. Shyvana is seeing so much playtime in at the moment. Just being able to get around that map so incredibly quickly is so important, and when you combine that with a mid laner such as Gragas and a jungler like Elise, who can all be super aggressive, Little Wraith are looking like they're gonna really put the pace onto Immunity in this first game.
Yeah, and this is a team comp that they've pulled off, you know, a lot. So, you know, Immunity definitely know what to expect here, I'm going to be honest. They've definitely seen the VODs and done the research here, and maybe they're picking accordingly. It's hard to tell. They've gone for the Lulu in the support with Radier's Sivir, as well as Swiffer on that Orianna for the mid lane. And, you know, obviously Orianna can win out that trade, or that lane early on, against Joshi's Gragas, but we're seeing Joshi turn this exact matchup around, you know, pretty heavy-handedly, so we'll see how he fares against Swiffer, who's been, you know, playing like a monster here. So it's a little bit interesting. Bot lane for Trashboat and Charlie could be going with the Varus Sona. Interesting lane setup there, and it seems like against a Sivir, maybe they're just going for CC overload to just kind of, you know, completely overwhelm Radier with that spell shield.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of these picks before, fairly normal picks coming into some of the Go4LoLs, and Orianna and Gragas, a matchup that's incredibly fun to watch. I do believe one of the Go4LoLs we did see Pempty, the SYF mid laner, play both in a row, back to back, playing Gragas and then Orianna into the other as a matchup and winning both fairly considerably. So it's interesting. I think it used to be considered quite a good lane for Orianna, but I think now, with some of the changes onto Gragas, especially the buff onto his body slam, and the timing change onto his Q to being able to detonate that instantly, I think it's now become a skill lane more than a counter lane.
Yeah, and it's really interesting as well, you know, because right before that preseason patch came out, all the assassins were nerfed, and everyone kind of just said, well, Gragas and Orianna are the only mid lanes left, and we saw that in the Oceania meta for, you know, a couple weeks, but the thing about Little Wraith here is that they always force this mid lane back again, you know, they're not interested in really going outside of that. You know, outside of the Gragas Orianna, you might see a Zigzor in Italy for a poke comp, and you know, that's about as extreme as it gets here for Little Wraith, and you know, this whole month, I think they've limited their mid lane pool to about 3 champions. That's very, very small here for this team that is pretty... you gotta say, they're not underdogs going into this one, I'm gonna say. They are in the sense that Immunity have tons of LAN experience and are a very seasoned team, but, you know, Little Wraith definitely have the results going into this one to show.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is probably one of the only teams at the moment who could really go into a matchup against IM and really not say that IM is a distinct favorite. I mean, obviously, I think IM still has a little bit of being favorite on their side. I think a lot of people are going to expect Immunity to win, but
yeah,
Little Wraith,
sure.
Little Wraith are the team to take games off them, if they're going to take any games off them. Talking to a couple of the players beforehand, they seem pretty confident going into it. They've beaten Immunity in scrims, and that can be a really good psychological factor when you come into this.
It can be.
Yeah, they're not going to be afraid to try, like, to make the plays that they've done in scrims. They're not going to be afraid to show their hand. I mean, obviously, in a scrim, you don't show everything, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they come into this game, and I think this is probably one of the more level games for an Immunity game.
Yeah, and the thing about, you know, Little Wraith is, while they do kind of limit their champion pool, you know, they like their style of play a lot. It's very effective, and, you know, these guys have really only come around in the last month. It's pretty incredible. You know, the Oceania scene kind of comes around very quickly with new teams, and they also die away very quick as well, with the exception of Immunity. But you know, Little Wraith in the past month have played, you know, into the hundreds now of games at Challenger 5v5 against all of these guys, and they've got an astounding win rate at it too. They've you know, gone to the IEM qualifiers for Singapore and done a fantastic job. Won pretty much every Go4LoL this month as well, so it's very hard to say that these guys might take... Well, it's hard to say that they won't take a game off Immunity here in the best of 3. I would expect it to be a 2-1 for these guys. Not sure who will win it though, you know, it's going to be super close.
Yeah, I think it is probably going to be a 2-1. I think Immunity might drop a game to Little Wraith here, and I think a lot of this action is going to revolve around this mid lane and Wild Joshi, and they are part of the playmaking part of Immunity. Obviously, Spooks are a very big playmaker for Immunity as well, but both teams sort of let their bot lanes just have their own way, and that's sort of how both teams like to play. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting, like with Joshi, the combo of Joshi and Chelbstar can really get that the damage and the control that they need on the top half of the map, as opposed to Immunity. So I think the first 5 or 6 minutes of this game are going to be super, super important.
Yeah, I totally agree, and you know, talking about mechanics as well for these guys, Raider is always been known for such a superstar AD carry here in the Oceania scene. You know, a lot of people would even go as far to say that on the, you know, the world scene, he definitely ranks up there, and he's definitely noticed by a lot of people. But you know, Trashboat, he's come around and he is a fantastic AD carry as well. Really can't highlight that enough. Charlie as well on the support. So this bot lane, you know, might be a struggle point there for Immunity. If we see, you know, focus drawn from Spooks down there, it'll be interesting to see how Chelbster responds. You know, he's not usually the kind of jungler that likes to camp for his bot lane, but, you know, we've seen Spooks. He's very good at, you know, changing up his play to help lanes that need it. But Chelbster, you know, he likes to farm, he likes to focus on that mid lane, so you know, this will be something that'll really push... Well, this game in general with Immunity will definitely be something to push Little Wraith, you know, to that next level. They're going to have to step it up.
Yeah, they are, and it's going to be a really interesting matchup up in that top lane as well. I think the solo lanes really are going to be the thing to look out for. Porky probably has the advantage going into that lane. Rengar, sorry, can do a fair bit of damage with that Q, but Shyvana is so incredibly sustaining in that top lane and can easily push those waves, whilst Rengar doesn't have the same AoE presence. And whilst, you know, Rengar is going to build tanky. He's probably going to get that Sunfire Kit, going to get that Spirit Visage. Shyvana gets that, and she gets them, and it synergizes better with her ult giving her the extra 20 to 40 armor and magic resistance. She's going to get a lot tankier than Rengar is in those team fights, and with the AoE coming out, with that Gragas AoE coming out, the Sun ult crescendo as well can really, you know, they have a lot of AoE damage, and I think all of the targeted the targeted damage from immunity might fall off against that sort of AoE split up damage.
Yeah, and you know, that's the kind of the approach that Little Wraith always take to these games. You know, very mobile. They look to split up the fight with the Gragas. And immunity, you know, they just go for that wombo combo every single time, but they pull it off so well. You know, their execution in team fights is fantastic, and it's good to watch these guys duke it out. Actually, interesting. 100 extra gold starting there for Little Wraith. So that's coming out with support masteries and the extra starting gold. So that's a little thing to look out for. Insta pause as we go in, and hey, it wouldn't be the Oceania scene without it.
Exactly right. Where would we be without a pause? I think it is just the curse of. I'm sure it's a worldwide ESL curse. I'm gonna go to worldwide. Some of the EU pauses have been very epic. So that does give us an awesome amount of time to the matchups that we're gonna see here as well. So I'm gonna put my money on Chelsea, and while Josh is getting that first blood, I think that's where the action is going to come. And
I agree.
It's all going to be about that first 30-45 seconds in lane for Joshi. If he can get that pressure onto Swiffer, who have the auto attack advantage. So a very even lane, a very interesting lane. I think that's where a lot of the early action's really going to spice this up.
Yeah, and it's so hard to call as well, because for all we know, there could be a crazy all-in at level 1, and if something really gets thrown in the air there, but it could also be one of those games where we don't see a first blood until 8 or so minutes, and it ends up happening in a dragon fight. Would not be surprised to see that happen here, because, you know, in their semi-finals that we got to see, Immunity were definitely playing it passive in the early game there, and, you know, perhaps they're still, you know, fairly new to this patch. There's a lot of content out there, though, for these guys to research, so, you know, I doubt there's really much of an issue there. We'll see though, because Little Wraith, they do like to play the early game aggressive here. Despite, you know, their team comp, they, you know, usually go for something aggressive regardless. See what they go for this time. Ping's coming out from Immunity on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, a lot of offensive pings are going out there. Looks like they are going to try and invade through that tri-bush. We do see both teams grabbing 4 warding totems and 1 sweeping lens, but this invade could really bad as Trashboat and Charlie look like they're going to face check it. Oh, he does spot out though.
Yeah, Spooks did miss with the Resonating Strike, but Trashboat's going to be forced to flash. And that's very rough for him starting out in that bot lane. Immunity with a very strong in level 1. Rest of Little Wraith slowly moving down now.
Yeah, Little Wraith are collapsing down on them. Trashboat's just going to go back. They've spotted out Immunity. They know what they're doing. They're not going to know where the wards go though, but they may have spotted that Rosie has no wards, only the one ward I should say, so they're going to be pretty confident it's going onto the red buff. And
yeah,
Grugs did get a little bit of poke down onto Oriana, so Oriana is going to have to go back there, make sure she doesn't come into lane with a bit of damage taken onto her, and she's running support masteries.
Very interesting indeed. I kind of just saw that as well, but in the bot lane too, Rosie spotting out that ward put down by Sona. They cleared that one out. It was very good use of the totems there. Very interesting mechanic that's come out in this preseason patch.
Yeah, and totems are something that we've seen changed up a little bit as we've seen the competitive scene catch up to 3.14, and it's definitely been a lot of junglers taking that sweeping lens, whilst the support's taking either the sweeper or the scrying, or just to give a little bit of vision into that, gives you a good check. And we're going to see fairly standard lineups all across the map. Now, the 1-1-2 setup, as I like to call it. And I think this is really going to play well into... Immunity's hands. I'm not going to lie. I think Little Wraith might have benefited from that 2v1. Sona and Caitlyn have such incredible poke and pushing potential, and Shyvana is going to have an easy time in a 2v1 compared to Rengar. Rengar not having the leap with his bush. Swiper is going aggressive onto Porky though in this top lane.
Yeah, not sure if too much is going to come out of that just yet, but, you know, it's a good point about that 2v1 potential these guys could have gone for, and, you know, really would have slowed down Spooks on that Lee Sin as well, because, you know, Elise is definitely happy to farm up, and she's a fantastic champion for a 2v1 setup. You can push back the lane, defend for your solo as well, so... You know, of course, Little Wraith didn't go for it here, and we'll have to see, because while Joshy must feel confident coming up against this mid laner as well, so perhaps if he can get ahead early, he can transition that into a very strong Gragas roam, which we've seen him pull off quite a lot.
Yeah, and he's keeping up really well on CS at the moment. He's just going to use his abilities and get his health back. Obviously, Gragas' passive does give him health back on his max health. Do see Swiffer throwing out a little bit of harass on him. A fairly even trade so far, and with only a 5-6 CS difference early, you know, Orianna not really using the full zoning potential that she could have. Joshy doing very well to keep that lane pushed up.
Yeah, and I mean, Josh is a fantastic Gragas player as well. He, you know, just farms it out early with the barrels, very, very standard for a Gragas, but you know, he's not afraid to shy away from those all-ins. Once he gets that level 3 mark, he's got the body slam as well as the drunken rage for a bit extra damage on those auto attacks, but you know, he's going to wait for Chelbster here as well. He's going to respect the presence that Swiffer commands, and you know, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, and Swiffer is pushing in towards that top, and that's really what Joshy wants. He wants to be able to push up into, let Swiffer push up. Joshy's going to be able to CS fairly effectively, body slam now, dealing equal damage amongst all minions, so very, very good at last hitting. We are seeing a gank come into the mid lane though.
Swiffer's going to be a bit in trouble. Cocoon didn't manage to land, but there's the bite. There's the first blood going to Joshy, and hey, you called it. It's Chelbster and Joshy in that mid lane, 4 minutes in with the first blood.
I'm getting out my crystal ball there. It was going to be the lane to watch, and I think they've done really, really well to do that. Joshy playing super aggressive in the really early game, and then allowing Swiffer to push out just didn't ring any alarm bells. And I think Swiffer, being a little bit too confident there, thought he was winning the lane when really was a pretty good bait by Wild Joshy.
Yeah, and I think off that as well, Chelbster as well is going to grab so much early gold, you know, for that jungle that we'll see him probably transition to either top or the bot and go for a pretty big dive. And I feel, well, actually we'll wait to see if it happens before we call it though. Swiper taking a lot of, well, getting a lot of damage there onto Porky in the top lane, so it's going to be forced back.
Yeah, Swiper being forcing Porky back early in that top lane is going to give Rengar quite a good advantage on there. He can deal a fair bit of damage onto that turret, and with Elise being in the bot side, yeah, there's not going to be any relief of pressure on there, but Rengar looking like he just wants to go back, just spend that gold. He is sitting on about 1100 gold at the moment. He's probably going to pick up the Chain Vest or the Giant's Belt that he'll turn into the Sunfire Cape. And goes for the Negatron early. Looks like he wants to go rush that Spirit Visage of the Spectral Cow. Spectral Cow actually does give him a lot of good early sustain, so yeah, not really that surprising to pick up.
Yeah, and especially against Shyvana, you know, tons of magic damage coming out with the W, of course, the burnout. So no surprises there for the top lane, but I've got to commend Swiffer right now. You know, he has not eaten a single barrel yet since getting back to lane, shielding every single time. So, you know, Josh is going to struggle this one. It's going to turn into a bit of a farm for him till Chelbster comes out. Oh, as I say, that he hits a barrel, but regardless, you know, Swiffer's still definitely in this one. He's about 10 CS ahead as well, but got to be careful of that Joshy Gragas.
Yeah, definitely. And that's Joshy just hearing you out on that stream and go, you want me to land a barrel? Here's the barrel.
Yeah.
And very, very good at doing that. Just, he will hit those barrels when he needs to. And now that they're both level 6, the all-in potential from Gragas is so incredibly potent. And picking up that first spot, both of them having chalices, but Joshy with the boots is going to give him a little bit of an advantage if he does need to disengage from that very quickly. Body slam and boots get him away from most things.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, the mobility coming out of Gragas did hit, or get a little bit of a nerf with the cooldown on the body slam. But of course, when you hit a champion, half of it's refunded. So that makes offensive Gragas that little bit better. It's going to play in the hands of Joshy, I feel, for this game. But in the top lane, it trades back and forth. And this Rengar pickup has been working fantastically for Immunity.
Yeah, Rengar taking that 8 CS. He's going to do he's doing a ton of damage to Porky there. And Chelpster is coming up into this top lane though. He's looking like he wants to be aggressive. Misses the stun.
Ooh.
Isn't going to get that much down on.
Yeah, that heal as well coming out of Swiper, just so hard to deal with. Chelpster, unfortunately, has his cocoon just dodged there by Swiper. No problems at all, but I guess I was wrong earlier on. I called Chelpster out, saying that he's going to go through big kind of ganks here, and it's not really happened. So I guess Little Wraith maybe feeling a bit under pressure here, because it's usually the play they like to go for.
Yeah, they do love to make those plays, and you see Spooks throwing down that 1 minute ward into the blue area of Little Wraith. He's just going to meander around, but he's standing on a pink ward, and it's actually good to see that Little Wraith taking their approach to pink wards really, really well. It is good vision, 100 gold, and it lasts forever, and that's what a lot of people really didn't realize about the pink wards, is that they are forever now. If you place one down, it will go until it's taken out. So they're very, very cost effective if you can manage to put them into place. Oh, do see aggression in the bot lane.
Wow. Ultimate used straight away by Sivir to engage there. That was super aggressive. Call was just made and Immunity went for it. Didn't work out at all. Got a lot of damage onto Charlie, but that's about it. Ooh, and that boomerang blade would have just completely chunked down Charlie, but it's not to be. You can see Spooks now transitioning to the bot lane. Josh actually started walking down there as well, so he's ready to follow up. Chilpster making his way down as well. So no action just yet for the bot lane, but people are moving to positions.
Yeah. And we are going to see that dragon fight coming up fairly soon. Normally we do them about 10 minutes into the game, but if you ask Radier, I'm sure he would not want to take dragon for the first 50 minutes of the game. He would be content to sit in lane for that long. So we might see a little bit more passive farming. I'm expecting this dragon fight probably to be the explosive fight that starts off the game. We do see a lot of aggression in the mid lane. The ult goes out.
Oh, Swiffer got super lucky with that flash there as the barrel with the explosive cast hit from Joshy. Man, that definitely would set up a kill. Joshy looking so powerful in this mid lane, and Swiffer under pressure is not something we usually see here. Bot lane as well, looks like it could be engaged. There's a crescendo coming across off the Raider. He's going to take a lot of damage. There's a kick, brilliantly done by Spooks. Had to use the flash though, totally worth it. Trashboat in trouble as he tries to run back as well. Slow coming out of Rosie. They really want this kill, or at least Lulu does. He takes a bunch of damage, forces the wild growth as well. No turnaround there from an IM. They're going to be content with one kill. Maybe a dragon as well. We'll have to see. Joshy's here though. No explosive cast. He takes a bunch of damage from Raider. So much as well with that barrel. Can they pick it up? Flash from Joshy. Tries again with the auto. There's the body slam. Just takes him out. Dower hits coming through as well. Rosie can't pick anything up. But Joshy with a brilliant rotation. Right as Swiffer went base as well.
Yeah, and that was really, really well played, while Joshy being able to rotate down into that bot lane just to give them the damage that they really needed to clean up that fight. And almost did fall down to Rosie with the picks and the glitter lance, but not quite enough damage on Rosie just yet. And I think part of the problem there was reduced aggression in this top lane. Swiper and Porky just juking it out of the top.
Oh yeah. Ace side as well. Like dragons and stuff pretty funny coming out. Porky kind of pull it up. Nonetheless, he's safe. So
yeah,
see where the engage comes out there. The rest of the map though, super rotating. It's gonna get pinged out pink ward in that bush. Big pink ward actually that's been there for quite a while. Joshy's seen this one. Nice collapse. If they get this one, it's all good. Spooks takes a lot of damage. He's actually gonna kick him through as well. There's a shockwave and grab on two people. Can they clean up for a second kill? And Shintada that picked up the first. Brilliant slow ball coming up as well. Body slam on the Swiffer. Can they pick it up? Body slam. No, that's it. Cocoon as well. Chelsea comes in. And there is Job Squashy with the pickup. Brilliant lift down with the body slam.
I'm not sure if that's better or not yet. There is a lot.
Right, so I think there's a little bit of problem with our mics. So the Bane just take over for a second.
Okie dokie. We are coming in. I thought I was lagging there. Apparently not. You see a little bit of aggression coming out from this top lane. Swiper being super aggressive towards Porky, is not afraid of that Shyvana at all, and Shyvana is going to be able to push that lane up. They're keeping fairly even in CS, 88 to 91. So despite very aggressive plays by Rengar, he can't really force Shyvana back enough to significant damage. So very well played by Porky to keep that lane shoved up and deny as much roaming time onto Rengar. And Rengar, without being able to roam, isn't going to really be the full extent that he really wants to be. So,
alright, let's see. Engage in the ball lane. Reyna going to take a bunch of damage. There's a bite coming across from Chelsea. Ace in the hole. Not going to find the kill. But regardless, disengaged there. And Little Wraith here, 5-1 right now.
Yeah, 5-1 at the moment. They are so far ahead, and they're commanding. They're really beginning to command this game, and that's really, really impressive. And I think one of the things that we really have to commend Little Wraiths on is the incredible ward coverage that they have. They are so much vision at the moment. 3 pink wards on the map that are just going to sit there. They do not time out. They will be there forever until someone from Immunity walks along and finds them. And this is going to turn the first turret of the game for Little Wraiths into the first dragon.
Swiffer's in trouble as well. Explosive cast used. He has the body slam in a second. Oh, Barrel comes out and picks it up despite the shockwave. Good job from Joshy.
Yeah, Joshy being able to pick that up, and he is now very comfortably ahead of Orianna, 4-0-1. Joshy showing how dominant he is on that Gragas, and a 0-3 Swiffer. Swiffer not looking too good at the moment, and one of the things that we know Swiffer to do is, once he does start to fall behind, he often does keep falling behind. Very much like ambition in that one.
Definitely ambition in this game is where it's at. And Little Wraith playing it very strong, although Porky might be in a bit of trouble. He's very low in that top lane, and Swiper playing it aggressively too. Still, no kills on that top lane, which is very surprising for these guys. 6-1 overall on the board.
Yeah, 6-1, and a 4-8 gold lead for Little Wraiths. They are really taking it to Immunity in the first 15 minutes of the game. They do level it up they get 2-1 in turrets actually, and Immunity taking the bot turrets, Radiant and Rosie being able to pick up that turret was fairly low on health. They're going to discover one of their pink wards, take that out fairly effectively, and we've still got 2 on the board, and they are just commanding vision at the moment. So very very good map presence that they've got. I hear you reconnect. Are you back there, place?
Yeah, just double checking it. Not sure if it's me or the TS, not too sure. I've had a couple issues here, but the bot lane trash boat could be in trouble. Rosie coming around the side as well. No engage just yet. He's going to wait for Spooks to rotate around, although he's very low, so be very risky engage for Immunity. Dragon not going to be up for a while either. Joshy just defending that mid lane, so I'm not sure where these guys are going to go.
Yeah, it did see Spooks try and walk down in there and then face check in towards that Porky. Not going to do anything there. Oh, the explosive!
Nice catch on the Spooks! He's going to jump away with the save foul right there, but oh man, 2 ultimates coming straight out there for Little Wraith. Almost picking him up.
Yeah, that was so very well done, and we do see Chubster in that top lane is going to pick up the last of the outer turrets for Little Wraiths, going to 3-1.
Oh, and Rosie's being caught out as well by Porky and Charlie. He's going to be not quite able to pick this one up just yet. No slow cord available from Sona. Rosie gets out. I think it's going to be Rosie with that one.
Yeah, but Immunity are collapsing down onto them. Do see the Ancient Talisman going. The Talisman of Ascension, there we go, which has replaced Shrelia's Reverie in that move speed active, so they're going to get away fairly comfortably, and pretty good pickup there. I mean, we do see Charlie rushing the Talisman, and really, he's been able to do that. He hasn't needed that Sightstone. Where were you seeing aggression down the bot lane? Yes.
Not quite, it's the mid lane. It's looking scary. You know, Swipey, he's waiting for the ball so he can engage, but you know, Swiffer's just holding on to it. He's being greedy. It's like, so you can't have my ball just yet. Swiper has to earn it. But,
yeah.
You do want to set that one up, obviously, with the thrill of the hunt and thrill of the potential teamfight win with that wombo combo.
Yeah, and if they do land that wombo combo, Immunity even up the score pretty effectively there. But definitely just want to talk about like how Little Wraith are itemizing at the moment because it is so good. We do see that Charlie rushed the Talisman of Ascension just to give them that the speed boost that they really need to be able to catch immunity. And the reason he's been able to do that and not get that early Sightstone is just because of the amount of ward coverage being placed by Little Wraith. They've constantly had 3 or 4, 3, sometimes even 4 vision wards on the map. Not to mention the stealth wards that they've had all over the place. And only now have we seen immunity really stack quite a lot of gold into getting that vision back. And they're really forcing immunity to invest a lot of gold into this to keep themselves safe, essentially.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of wards. And Porky, again, just trading here with Swiper. Obviously, Swiper's going to be able to easily trade this one out using those bushes, running straight back to him. But actually, Porky has quite a bit of damage here with that Sunfire Cape compared to Rengar, who's mainly built for sustain here and tankiness in the fights. They're going to back out from that one, but, you know, immunity. This is something we almost never say here in Australia, but they're on the back foot.
Yeah, they really are on the back foot in this game, and it's not something we don't see very often. Immunity in Australia losing out the into the mid game. Really, we are transitioning into the mid game, and that's something immunity really looked very strong in. We're not seeing that from them yet, and they're still 4,000 gold behind. And if they don't start to really get that get the ball rolling, they are going to lose this game. They have a late game scaling team. I mean, the Wombo combo that they do have can do a lot of damage, but if they don't have those items, if they don't have the same damage that Joshi can output, then they're not going to be able to live in the fights long enough to get the combo off, because it's all around getting Reindeer to do more and more damage as the fight goes on. And if he can get nuked down by Joshi or Chelbster or Porky, who can all jump onto him fairly effectively, and if Swiffer and Swiper can't get that combo to stop them, then Little Wraith are just going to be able to command the rest of this game.
Very true, and about 10 seconds till that dragon spawns, and you know, this is a point where immunity really have to kind of decide if they're going to play from the back foot or if they're going to try and, you know, take the initiative there and maybe step something up. It's going to be very hard for them to fight for the dragon, but again, you know, Little Wraith really aren't in position just yet. But Shyvana moving down slowly, and Swiper needs to get on his move as well to get to that dragon. But you can see Chelbster already starting that one up, using the Spider Lens to tank it out. Also stepping back and forth kind of disrupts the dragon auto attacks, so it's going to be a very easy dragon pick up there for Little Wraith.
Yeah, Little Wraith just going to pick that up and further their gold lead that they've got at the moment. And Shyvana staying in that top half of the map, she had, because of the ward coverage they had. I mean, I'm ranting on about ward coverage a lot, but
oh yeah,
that's something we don't see in Australia too often, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Good and comprehensive ward coverage. So, you know, all credits where credit's due. 3 pink wards in the river. They know exactly where immunity can see, and Trashmo doing a lot of slash crescendo though.
Oh, nice catch on a Rosie. Chelbster as well gets that kill. There's a repel actually on the Radiant. If he can pick this one up, it could be huge. He does, and Trashbo actually grabs that one as well. Here comes Swiffer though. No ultimate, just available. Trashbo's in the enemy base right here. He's going on walkabout. Not sure what he's doing right now. Swiffer going to be chasing in spooks too. Trashbo's just like, oh, you know what? I'm screwed. You can see he's standing next to that wall. He's going to jump over with the net. Might be able to 1v1 Swiffer here. No, just going to get deleted. But regardless, that buys a ton of time for Little Wraith. And they're going to pick up that bot tower.
Yeah, they do. They pick up the bot tower and sacrificing Trash Boat, but they got 2 kills and the bot tower, the bot inner tower, and they've taken it to an 8-2 kill. Oh, the shockwave onto Charlie in the middle. Deletes him.
Oh my gosh. Man, that's scary. Like, periods to deletes. Oh, and he dodges the
goes down to Porky. The twin bite's gonna pick up that kill. Joshi does manage to get the explosive cast on him and displace him, and that's gonna be one very, very dead Swiffer. His 4th death of this game. Almost half of the kills picked up by Little Wraith. It appears we have misplaced place, so I will be casting a little bit more, doing my own little thing. And we do see immunity grouping up as 3, gonna push out in towards that mid lane turret, which is very low at the moment, 370 health. So Swiper, Reindeer, and Rosie all gonna push towards that. Spooks coming up and joining them. You can see Porky rotate up into that top lane with the double bus. He did grab off Swiper in that Swiffer, sorry, in the mid lane after that fight, and we're going to see Immunity back off from this mud turret. They don't really want to fight Little Wraith at the moment, and really being, you know, at 7,500 gold behind. That is just so, that is uncharacteristic of Immunity, and really Little Wraith are showing that they are here to stay, because they are really taking it to Immunity in this at the moment. We do see Porky is turning it onto Swiper here. All game it has been so that Porky losing these trades, but he is winning it this time. Takes Swiper down to about half health. Rosie is just going to come up there, not going to get there in time to really do much, and both parties just going to disengage. Charlotte has gone off, the crescendo goes off. Porky is going to jump on him in dragon form. He is going to be able to tank up this turret for days. Rengar does go into ult though. It's not going to be quite enough edge to take him out, and Porky is going to jump off. It appears that we have a place back.
Yeah, so not too sure what happened right there. The intensity of the game just getting to that Australian internet right there, eating up all the bandwidth. But Swift is being caught out by the Cocoon. Not going to engage on it just yet. Chelbster playing it very, very cautiously. But they're going to pick up a free tower. Good job to Little Wraith. Can they take another is the question. They've got Immunity on the back foot. But there is a brilliant shockwave. Oh my gosh, it's 3 people as well. Can they keep the engage going? That's the question. Nice explosive cast. Pushes Radiant to the rest of the team as well. They pick up an easy kill. Porky with the bait flashing over the wall. And Swiper is just such a beast right now. Trash Boat trying to melt him down. Chelbster as well. And it's a 1-for-1 so far. 1-for-2. There we go. But Swiffer will survive. It's a 2-for-2. Crazy fight.
Yeah, really, really crazy fight, which was started on the back of a massive Swiffer ult. That was really tremendous, but Little Wraith, oh, the Flash Insect is going to come out. And,
oh, man.
Oh, the W
Trash Boat actually take a couple of tower shots and just throws a Piltover the wrong way as well. Going to dodge that resonating strike coming out of Spooks. Swiper, if he can get a jump here, Trash is dead. Oh, there's the Tempest. There's the slow, and this is looking pretty scary for Swiper right now. He will get taken out in a second. He's really dragging this one out. He does die to Swiper.
Yeah, Trash Boat falling down there. 3-for-2 trade. I think Little Wraith are going to be happy with that, picking up 2 turrets in that top lane, and still keeping a very good lead on Vision. I mean, Spooks just walked through a wood and didn't even take it down, and they have 4 Vision wards. Like, this is incredible amount of Vision wards on there. Don't forget, this is not, you know, this isn't Charlie being an amazing support and investing gold into it. 4 separate players from Little Wraiths have put pink wards down into the river. That is just sheer, that is bewildering. They have pinged out that there is a ward there, they can see it, but they're just a huge amount of vision coming out from Little Wraith, and that is really keeping Immunity on the back foot. They can't find picks, they can't find ways to get into this game, and if they continue not being able to find ways to get into this game, then they're just the Immunity
they could drop game 1.
Yeah, and
that's the only way to put it.
How often do we say Immunity dropped game 1? Like,
yeah, and I mean, wow, it's just something we never see in the Oceania scene. So obviously we've seen Immunity at international events where they've really met some, you know, very strong teams. But here we go, Little Wraith. It could be the next stars of Australia. We'll have to see. Pushing down the mid lane, Swiffer ready for, looking for a catch, and you know, Immunity haven't yet really pulled off a shockwave combo with Swiper. So you know, Little Wraith have done a fantastic job of defending that one out. Mid tower going to be sieged down. Trash just jumping off. You can see, you know, all of the skill shots just thrown out, looking for some kind of engage. Didn't happen. But Little Wraith are very content with that.
Yeah, Little Wraith are just going to keep on towards this, the mid inner turret. We do see Swiper jumping in for the engage though.
Oh, completely misses the wombo combo as well. Dragon's Descent pushing Swiper even further back, and he is just going to get demolished right there. Joshi picks up a kill as well onto Lulu. Rosie falls down there. It's a 2-for-0 right now, and Little Wraith, it really looks like they're going to take game 1 here. If they can grab this inhibitor at the 26-minute mark, they're going to look super strong. Potentially set up for a Baron as well, and I have never seen Immunity on such a back foot here.
Yeah, and like, I can't stress this enough. I know we have about 2,700 viewers in at the moment. Chelbs are going solo. He does fall down to Raider.
Oh, he gets ticked down by Raider. Unbelievable. Second inhibitor going to go down, and Little Wraith just brutally melting down this base from the side of Immunity right here. could be transitioning across to that Baron. Of course, they have 3 pink wards as well, so plenty of vision to set this one up. Spooks making his way around, so he is in range. We'll see what happens, though. It looks like it won't be a Baron, though.
No, doesn't look like they're going to go for that Baron. They are going to spot this pink ward there, but it's 1 of 3 in the area. And so, it's for anyone who isn't familiar with the OCE or the Australian scene, it's incredibly rare that Immunity lose games, let alone the first game of a finals. So, to see them getting so confidently beaten by Little Wraith is something you don't see very often, so this could be a OCE history-defining moment. We do see the setup going in, though. They do want to try and get a gank out onto him.
Spooks is playing this one pretty crazily right now, just jumping around on that Lee Sin. Obviously one of his favorite champions there, but Chelbster as well, just kind of sitting around. Needs to be a bit careful. He doesn't want to get jumped on by all 5 members, but there's a crescendo coming across, lands on Swiffer as well. There is no damage in return for Immunity just yet. Chelbster actually does get taken low, but Rosie survives from Immunity. There's a kick and the disengage from Immunity. No one's going to fall in that one, but actually there's the jump in. Shockwave going to come out. Nice turnaround from Immunity. Charlie taken low as well, and Swiper just so strong. Trashboat's positioning is incredible, though. Ace in the hole comes out. Oh, it's a double from Gregus. That was filthy. Oh my gosh. Lee Sin and Rengo are going to fall down in that explosive cask, and man, just as quick as it started, looks like Little Wraith win out the fight. Body slam going to miss, but it jukes in his favor to some degree. Well, Josh is still chasing this one down. Swiffer trying his hardest to get away. Barrel comes out to shut down, pings onto Baron, and Little Wraith with an awesome teamfight win right there. 3 kills for 1.
Yeah, 3 kills for 1, and they go to 11k gold up over Immunity. They're going to pick up this Baron, and that's going to take their lead more to like 15,000 gold, 13,000 gold, plus the buffs that they get from it. And I believe, yes, Chelbster was alive for that as well, so he is also going to receive the Baron buff. And this is a very scary team for Little Wraith, and looks like they might be able to push Immunity back on this. And, you know, the best we're going to see is this could go to a game 3, and I think you might have called it when you said it's going to go to 2-1. It's going to be close either way, but
oh man,
Little Wraith really stepping it up for this game. I think for a team of 6 to 7 weeks, they've been around the early October they came around, so 8 weeks. There we go. I can count. They have performed so incredibly well, and I think it might be appropriate to call them the alternate or the Cloud9 of Australia at the moment.
Oh man. We have been treated to such a fantastic series here so far, guys. Like, you know, we're overstressing it here, but 16-8 for Little Wraith is incredible. These guys have, been coming up slowly, and everyone has seen the potential in the lineup of Little Wraith, and this is the proving point for them. If they can take games off Immunity, then they'll be, really set there. But, they're not done yet. We did see a glimmer of hope in that last fight for Immunity with a quick turnaround from Swiper and Swiffer. Getting a quick kill there. Luckily for Little Wraith, they were able to turn that one around, but, it isn't over just yet. There is always a glimmer of hope in these games for a team like Immunity. And while their inhibitors will be respawning soon, Little Wraith will have to transition to try and take those out.
Yeah, exactly right. But Swiffer sitting on 5 kills at the moment. He's doing a fair bit of damage, and the explosive cut there.
With the ulti again. Nice dodge by Spooks to get out of it, though, and Josh is going to get caught. Crescendo coming across to try and peel for him, and Swiper is just huge. Raider isn't, though. He's in trouble from Porky getting chased down. The burnout doing a bit of damage there as well. Ace in the hole. Going to loop around Spooks and find the mark. Brilliantly shot there from Trashboat. Cocoon lands as well. It's a 3-piece there for the side of Little Wraith. Cleaning up those inhibitors that he did just respawn as well. Very brutal for Immunity to have those taken out so quickly, but Little Wraith looking so strong as Spooks going in on a Trashboat. Very dangerous, and the first Nexus turret is under a lot of pressure here. 2 inhibitors have fallen as well. And that's going to be the second Nexus turret exposed. They get this one down. It will be the surrender, though, and no one has ever seen an Immunity surrender, so that is huge. Little Wraith pick up game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say anything more than Immunity surrender game 1. What game are we casting? What is this? Where is Immunity? But This is crazy. If Immunity come around to win this, you know, and they have not dropped a grand final in so long in Australia that I can't actually remember when they dropped it. I'm pretty sure the last final I can remember them dropping, I can't remember. That's how long it was.
It's just, you know, something we never see here. But, you know, it's not all done yet. Little Wraith have to win one more game here. And I tell you what, Immunity are going to be hitting the books in that short break that they're going to have to try and turn this one around, because they don't want to lose any face here. And Little Wraith, man, they're going to go into the next one super confident. So stay with us. My name is Placecasting with Mr. Baneblade for ESL and the Go4LoL November finals here. Will Little Wraith be, you know, the next coming for Oceania or not? Who knows? Find out soon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Go4LoL November Finals. What has really turned out to be an epic night here, for these guys. The Grand Finals, and it's Little Wraith taking on Team Immunity. Little Wraith are a game up, something I was never expecting to say going into tonight. But my name is Plays, casting this one with Mr. Baneblade here. So let's get into this champ select.
Yeah, we are definitely going to jump into that champ select, and let me pull up. Just let me onto that because I totally forgot having a Twitter war with the pastry time. So they have lost the game 1 and then turned it around before, and so we'll definitely see if Immunity can stay true to their form and bring it back in games 2 and 3. But I think this pick ban phase is going to be incredibly important for them.
Will be indeed. We've seen the Nidalee and the Cassidy banned out there for Little Wraith, and interesting that they banned out that Nidalee. Perhaps they're expecting to give that Lucian through to Immunity. If that's the case, I don't want to give them both of those champs because, you know, Joshy loves that Nidalee, but then again, Jinx is open there for Little Wraith as well, so they can pick that up. And he's been banned out, just like that first game, as you said. And the Shyvana ban, not really sure if that was deserving of a ban after the last game. I feel that Swiper really handled that one well with the Rengar pick.
Yeah, the Shyvana wasn't as huge playmaker in it as some of the others. I think Gragas probably taking the MVP of that game. Really, Wild Joshy on that Gragas, so incredibly powerful, and I think that's something that's going to be make or break in these the next 2 games we see.
Will be indeed. Insta-lock in there as well, Lise in that top lane coming out for going to be Spoofs in the jungle, taking that one away from Chelpster as well. And honestly, it's one of Chelpster's favourite champs, you know, huge comfort pick for him, so obviously just taking that one away. And Spoofs obviously not too happy with the more aggressive style with Lee Sin. Didn't really work out for him the last game. Struggled to get the ganks off, and then really only had a couple of good pickups in that bot lane. But Porky going to be taking that Olaf, and a Shaco pick? No. Mordekaiser? No, Chelpster's just trolling me here. It's actually a Mordekaiser, so is that a placeholder or not? We'll have to find out. Oh, please no. I think it's going to be a placeholder. I quickly
I was very, very lucky enough to be casting over on the Pros Play for Philippines with Leaguepedia yesterday, actually, and we did get to cast a Mordekaiser, and I think we spent the first minute of the game just repeating Hoi over and over again. It was a brilliant game. But the Olaf pickup onto Porky, if it does go up in that top lane, is a very, very strong pick against a lot of the bruisers that Swiper does like to play. Olaf being able to trade fairly effectively with them. Obviously, the lower health he goes, the more attack speed he has. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly does get picked up there. Renekton is open, and I think that's exactly what he's just going to hover over. So, pretty standard pickup for Swiper there.
Yeah, alright, so the Mordekaiser is a placeholder for Jinx. I'm not even surprised that that's what it's placeholding there, because Trashboat, that's his favourite champion. It was banned against him in that first game, and he's going to be allowed to have that one in the second one. But then again, Raider's been given that Lucian, not banned out this time round. But, you know, of course, with that Nidalee banned out, he's not going to have that iconic Nidalee and Lucian lane. So we'll see what Swiffer decides to go for here. Of course, there's a lot open. Ziggs will be available if he wants to pick that one up. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. And Swiffer would look to pick up Lucian into the mid lane. And if we do see Wild Joshy lock in this Evelyn, that is going to be super, super huge. Evelyn is so good at roaming the jungle and just making picks, and the moon does get locked in. That is going to be a huge playmaker on the side of Little Wraith, being able to Chelpster being able to get that aggression. Wild Joshy, if he does pick up something aggressive in the early game, that's going to be an absolutely devastating combo. We saw Chelpster and Wild Joshy picking up first blood in that first game, and I think this is going to be, they are going to be the playmakers again in game 2. If obviously, if Swiffer does pick up that Ziggs, it's going to be hard to play. Joshy does favor that Orianna, but Ziggs being so good against Orianna in the early game might be enough reason to dissuade him from it, and we might see something fairly new coming out from Wild Joshy.
Yeah, I'd like to see that as well, you know, switch up his champion pool a little bit. Still waiting on the final pick out of Little Wraith, but of course, Swiffer's gone for that all-rounder again, so we'll see how that works out. You know, he's kind of struggled with it actually throughout not only the grand finals here, but his semi-finals match as well. But, you know, I don't think that's a result of his mechanics there. I definitely feel, you know, there've just been other issues in the game that have translated to that pick. So Ziggs could be the lock-in here for Joshy, and, you know, I guess that's expected. You know, he doesn't have the Orianna, the Gragas is banned out against him. So they ban out the Nidalee, that pretty much only leaves Ziggs from his champion pool. So there it is, locked right in.
Yeah, and I think that's a pretty good lane for Wild Joshy. Ziggs pretty good at dealing with Orianna. He can out-damage Ori pretty significantly throughout the early game, and whilst his ult is harder to hit at close range, it's harder to hit at close range, it's pretty good at securing kills. They're not going to have as much to get away from it, but Immunity with a very, very solid lineup, and Little Wraith got a lot of damage and a lot of pick potential, but they're going to have to really step it up to get through that Immunity front line with Elise and Renekton.
Really going to have to as well. So that Mordekaiser was obviously a placeholder for the Jinx. That super iconic bot lane there for Little Wraith. So these guys are just going to push through that champ select super quickly, get that out of the way, and then we'll jump into the match. So the question is, you know, this is game number 2. Little Wraith are 1 up. What do you reckon Immunity are going to change this time around? Well, you know, they kind of had slow early rotations compared to Little Wraith in that first match, and I think that comes down to, you know, how quickly and how clever Chelbster jungles. You know, he definitely knows where he needs to be, and his jungle clear reflects that a lot. So what do you think Spooks is going to have to change up to deal with that?
I think they just need to add that aggression. Immunity need to add the aggression and match Little Wraith, because I feel like Spooks, who is normally quite aggressive, just couldn't match the speed that Chelbster really got to lanes and made plays. And when you add someone into the mix like Wild Joshy, who is so incredibly veteran at being overly aggressive, we did see them just snowball that sort of pairing. And once Gragas gets to the stage where you can just one-shot a team, you can pretty much stop any lineup. And the same sort of goes for Ziggs and Evelynn. If you can get to the point where Evelynn and Ziggs can like AoE damage the team and displace the team and force the team to run away enough that they can split up the Immunity, if they can get that snowball going, Immunity are going to find it very, very hard to get those 5v5 teamfights that they really want.
Yeah, and that's, you know, kind of something they struggle with in the last match for sure, especially when they're going for the combo with the Shockwave. And we'll see, you know, Rosie definitely has strong engage there with the Zenith Blade, and Swiper or Spooks can carry that ball as well. So, you know, Immunity have done a good job of giving themselves more options this time around, that's for sure. But, you know, the disengage coming out of Little Wraith is a bit interesting here. They don't have, you know, big AoE disengages like they did in the last match. They don't have the Gragas explosive cask, but they do have, you know, Undertow for quick slows, as well as Ziggs throwing down those minefields. You know, little things here and there. We'll see how that kind of plays through, but honestly, IM's lineup is looking really strong here.
Yeah, Immunity are looking very, very strong here with the Shockwave onto either Elise or Renekton. They can both get through that lineup pretty well, and it's really going to come down, again, it's going to come down to that early game. Whoever gets the snowball going is going to have such easy time, easier time winning those 5v5 fights. Jinx has an incredible amount of catch and kill potential. Especially if she does get excited, she can just chase anyone for days, and Trashbot on that. Definitely something we've seen him play a lot of. So, comfort champions on quite a few of the players, I should say, for Little Wraith. So, I am with a very strong team, but could say comfort champions onto the Little Wraith side.
Yeah, and that's something we see out of them all the time, you know. They're not too confident. Well, it's hard to say because we don't see it often, but, you know, they are very confident with their style of play. And, you know, it's a little bit easy to read at times, but I don't think that's an issue right here for these guys, because they play it and they execute it so well. And comfort picks definitely go into their hands nicely. And from the last match, Trashbro did a pretty good job of taking it to Radier in that bot lane. You know, the mechanics, it was a very close matchup as well in the supports. Can't leave those guys out because Charlie played fantastically, so did Rosie. But this time, you know, Trashbro is on his favorite character, the Jinx. And Charlie as well with that Taric, maybe not his favorite, but definitely one of his strong champs. So, you know, the bot lane out of Little Wraith here could really be a dictating factor. And, you know, while Immunity's bot lane is super strong here, Little Wraith can definitely take it to him.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is where the vision control that we saw from Little Wraith is going to be so important. Having vision over the jungle of Elise is so important for getting those, denying those picks, denying those ganks, and that's going to be super, super important with Chelpster, especially having that stealth. He can roam pretty freely over the map, and that's, I think, definitely going to be what we're going to see as the jungle matchup here, whether Elise can get around that stealth Evelyn.
We'll have to see that indeed. So, getting into the loading screen now, these guys getting into the game as well. 3 minute delay has gone through. So, level 1 has been pretty interesting, both of these games, and it's actually, you know, made a big impact there. We've seen summoner spells blown early, which kind of dictate how lanes play out here, but you know, I'm not too sure what we'll see this time around. It's game 2 for IM, so they went for an aggressive invade last game, and it did work out. I think they'll stick to their guns here, and they'll do the same. Obviously, their level 1 is very strong. But at the same time, you know, you want to be a bit careful when you have an Elise. You don't want to kind of mess up her jungle too much. But it's, you know, the same could be said for Little Wraith with that Evelyn.
Yeah, Evelyn has a pretty tedious level 1. Once she gets that double buffs on, she's a menace in that jungle. So once she does pick up double buffs, she's going to be able to use Hate Spike pretty much on cooldown and not really have to worry. And once she does get that, she's going to out-damage almost any other jungler. She can pretty much trade fairly effectively there. And the level 1 is going to be super important here. We did see Immunity play super aggressive last time, and we did see a fair bit of trade and poke back and forth. But yeah, Ziggs doesn't have the same sort of AoE poke damage that Gragas does. So if Immunity do get that aggressive aggression back onto that jungle, Little Wraith aren't going to have the same sort of poke potential that they did have level 1 as they did last game.
True indeed. So lots of pings coming out from the side of Little Wraith. Just kind of defending this one out. Obviously they want Chelpster to have a very strong start here because, you know, he's an Evelyn that really does like to build that damage. And there's 2 paths that these Evelyns usually take. You know, super tanky with things like Spirit of the Lizard Elder, Ancient Golem, as well as even an early Locket here could be picked up, but Chelpster's going to be going for that the Elder Wraith, as well as the DFG, I would expect. So, you know, he's going to need that strong early jungle for that to happen. You know, Spooks hasn't really been one to invade, I feel, throughout this series, so that's probably going to play into the hands of Little Wraith for that jungle pickup.
Yeah, definitely we do. Evelyn does get that DFG. She can insta-nuke anyone, and we've seen that a lot, especially it is a terror on Korean solo queue. I'll tell you that much. It is horror when you see that Evelyn picked up. It's not something you like versing. Yeah. DFG Evelyn is something that you will have nightmares about for a very, very long time. And we are going to see the blue buff start onto Chelpster. Going to take that fairly easily. Charlie is just going to tank that up fairly effectively using the Mastery there to give himself a 50 health shield. Going to tank up the first 2 shots of the turret for Evelyn. And a fairly standard start for both teams. A 1-1 start again. And I still think... well, no, Jinx is a very good 2v2 laner. Not going to have quite the same push potential as a Caitlyn does. So, very even lanes, I'm going to say, all around the board for Little Wraith. Really only that mid lane going to be the point of interest, is going to be my prediction for this game.
Yeah, I have to agree as well. So we'll keep an eye on this bottom lane, see how it goes out. Rosie kind of just wants to maintain that bush control regardless of that ward there, but Charlie, you know, he's waiting on that level 2, and that's usually where we see these guys potentially pick up early advantages in the lane. You know, you force that early level 2 by pushing, and then you force an engage off the back of that level advantage, but you know, not going to happen here, so don't need to watch out for that one anymore. But you know, Swiper's getting quite a bit of poke down here onto Porky in the top lane, and I guess the matchup just favorable for Renekton in this early stage of the game.
Yeah, Renekton's gonna have the advantage there, being able to put him out, do extra damage. Color of Meek, his Q, is going to do a fair bit of damage to him if he does get into the minions and hit that onto Olaf. But Olaf is going to scale fairly well. Ragnarok getting rid of all CCs on him. He's going to be able to run through the immunity team, and if he can get onto Radier, onto that Lucian only having the one escape with Relentless Pursuit, it's going to be fairly easy to catch. So there is a lot of threat for Radier. If Porky can survive this laning phase, if he does get a couple of items onto him, it's a very serious threat for Lucian, and that's something Immunity have to be really careful of.
Yeah, and especially, out of that last game as well, we saw the engages from Little Wraith were very, very strong and very consistently taking out Raider early in those fights, and it was definitely what contributed to their win there. So, it's good to see Little Wraith continue that kind of line of aggression, but, I think Immunity are prepared for it this time around. They've got a lot more peel for Raider here, especially with champions like Renekton and Rosie on that Leona. And that peel definitely going to help get Radier out of those sticky situations.
Yeah, and they're
coming in.
They are going to go for this engage.
Nice flash on the Cocoon as well. Can't quite get in onto it. Spooks struggling to get in there, but regardless, forcing that flash is going to be huge there, especially as Rosie hits that level 3, so he has his full combo for an all-in. This actually might be a bit scary for Trashboat and Charlie in the spot lane. Spooks coming around again. Good rotations, forcing that pressure. Cocoon will land this time, and they did have a vision of that too, so that's a huge misstep for Little Wraith. And that will be an early kill. Not first blood, though, going to Immunity.
Now, first blood picked up in that top lane. Evelyn jumping out onto Renekton. Ooh. Olaf getting the undertow.
Mid lane as well, actually, while Josh is going for the dive here. He put the Ignite on the Swiffer. Nice bait out of Swiffer. He does pick up the kill. Saves that barrier to the very last second. And he does end up taking out Joshy.
Yeah, and that barrier bait from Orianna, pretty predictable, fairly standard from Orianna's. I think Joshy took one too many tower shots, and I think he knew it. And this is going to set up Immunity really nicely for a 5-minute dragon. They're really going to take the snowball their objective lead here, and this is pretty bad fairly early for Little Wraith.
Yeah, definitely not the early game they were expecting here, and as this game progresses, I feel Immunity's team comp will take a little bit of a step up over Little Wraith. We'll have to see. Trashboat obviously could be a huge factor in these fights. We've seen his cleanup in previous Go4LoL tournaments. It's very, very strong. It's not all set in stone yet. It's only 2-1, and the gold lead only about 900.
Yeah, and one of the things that is in favor of Little Wraith at the moment is First Blood going up onto the jungle, onto Chelpstar, and the assist onto Porky gives him that giant spell that's going to allow him to trade very effectively with that Renekton, who's gone for the double Thorns. And we are going to see that Porky is now going to be able to trade more effectively and more viciously, more aggressively onto Renekton. Olaf does benefit extra health, able to spam out vicious strikes, which does cost that health, but gives him a lot of true damage. And a swiper on that Renekton is going to have a lot of resistances, but you can't block true damage with resistances. So having that early gold lead, the kill up in that top lane, definitely going to benefit Porky a lot more than the kill onto Raider, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and it's hard to tell in these top lanes, especially between champions like Porky and Swiper, where they like to play it very passively to a relative degree there. But Chelps are actually looking for a gang on the mid lane. Swiffer could be in trouble. Not quite as he backs out, but Chelps are definitely showing the pressure. He wants to keep Joshy ahead, of course. Joshy did die in that 1v1 earlier on, and that's given a bit of a lead to Orianna. But in the top lane, it's actually Swiper popping that Dominus, going in onto Porky as well. Not sure if he'll be able to pick up this kill. Has Ignite available, but it's a bit dangerous to try and dive that one just yet.
Yeah, with the Ragnarok on there, he wasn't going to get that stun and not able to chase Porky out. Swiper really turning on the heat there, being able to push him out of lane, and that's all efforts to Swiper behind on items, arguably, and still able to win those trades. He's showing just how good his top lane mechanic are, and with Evelyn sitting down in that bot lane, we could see a lot of pressure being put on by Renekton.
Could indeed, and You can see Spooks making his way down to the bot lane here as well, but Chelpster snuck his way in, and there will be the engage as well. There comes the ultimate out of Chelpster. Rosie's in trouble. Ignite ticks. He will be able to escape out the back fairly easily, actually. And there's the counter gate from Spooks. Cocoon lands. Charlie on the run. No kills either way. Both teams just unable to find that kind of finishing damage.
Yeah, and Chelpster spent a lot of time there, though. He spent a lot of time dedicated down into that bot lane, and for no kills, you know, all Spooks had to do was walk into that lane and throw out a cocoon.
1v1 in the mid, though, actually. Joshy engaging a lot. He's going to miss 2 of his skills, unfortunately, and there's the ultimate out of Swiffer. Ignite was used as well from Joshy, and Swiffer with a pretty convincing 1v1 trade just there.
Yeah, but we do see back in the lane engagement again. Raider is forced to flash away as the 3-man bot for Little Wraiths is going to do a huge amount of damage there. Just an incredible amount of burst coming out from Evelyn and Jinx, and that's going to force them back. And this could be a really convincing, a really good push coming out from Little Wraiths. If they can take this turret and try and end laning phase, that would be devastating for Raider, who just wants to sit back and farm till he gets that Bloodthirster and Triforce.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, though. You can see Spooks getting down there to defend it fairly easily as well. And, you know, right now, Little Wraith are very much struggling in this early game, with the exception of their top lane, which isn't doing too badly. Obviously, that assist that went to Porky. But, you know, even CS, so there's no real leads that they can build off here. And Chelpster, one of their star players, usually who gets them ahead in this early game, is kind of struggled, I feel, in the early game. He's only got that 1 kill, but he's definitely, you know, he's struggled in these early ganks.
Yeah, the ganks haven't paid off too well for him, but Porky could bait out this gank fairly well. I don't think Chelpster has been seen yet. He's got into that bush, and that's
nice.
That is the advantage of stealthed Evelyn. Evelyn can just come in, and she's going to get this gank off. The red buff is going to slow Swiper down, but he's just going to be able to dash away from that, get the slice and the slice away. No dice needed, and he's going to get away from that fairly easily. Spook's coming in for the counter engage, though.
That could be enough. It's going to be the cocoon lands as well. Porky has no mana, so he's pretty much out of this fight, but Spooks has taken a lot of damage by Chelpster. Chelpster's out of mana. There's a reckless swing, just takes him out. Unbelievable.
And that is the sheer turnaround damage that an Olaf can do. A reckless swing, so good, and they're going to be able to put a lot of damage down onto this turret. Olaf gets a lot of attack speed when he does get that vicious strikes off. So, you know, looks like they're going to turn this game around turn the top lane around very convincingly.
And I really didn't expect that as well, because, you know, Porky was out of mana very far back, but, you know, Chelpster stuck to his guns with that red buff, set it up. Quick pause is for a little bit of lag coming out there for Little Wraith, so they'll get that sorted fairly quickly here.
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's one of the things about Olaf. You know, it was such an intelligent buy that he's gone for the Giant's Belt and then the Ruby Crystal. He can pump out reckless swings because he does have that health to spare, and true damage onto someone like a Renekton, onto an Elise who do naturally get MR and magic resist and armor. True damage, you know, you can't mitigate it. It will just do true damage, as its name implies.
Yeah, it's really devastating there, and I think that's why, you know, the resurgence of Olaf has been so strong with the, you know, couple of changes to his undertow and vicious strikes. But, you know, Swiper, definitely a player who can play from behind, I feel, here, and he's going to be completely happy to do it. Just farm up that top lane. Now that the tower's gone, it's really, you know, all up to Little Wraith to kind of utilize that little advantage and roam effectively. Otherwise, Swiper is just going to get very strong as those creep waves push in. Swiffer, though, making quick work of that mid tower. It's almost down. Will be able to be done in one more push, and we did see a little catch there onto Charlie. He does get out. Spooks and Rosie found that one, but the dragon's been started up.
Yeah, they're going to start the dragon. Fortunately, Trashboat is going to have to try and push out that wave. He does have the super mega death rocket. The most awesome name to say casting, especially if you set very, very quick. He does use it. He's not going to be able to take the dragon. So close, but Reindeer. Oh, Reindeer.
This game feels very weird for me, Bane. You know, it feels like both teams are kind of struggling to find an angle into this one. We've seen some really odd plays come out. You know, the ward placement is, you know, coming out a lot here for for Immunity, just like they did in the last game, and they're not really finding anything off it, I feel. There's been almost no catches here with the exception of that one catch, or two catches in the mid lane where we saw a 1v1 out of Swiffer, but this game has definitely felt a new change of pace, I feel, compared to game number 1 in this series, which is definitely good for Immunity because game number 1 didn't turn out too great, and this time they're looking much stronger. About half a thousand gold in the lead.
Sitting at about 1,500 gold, taking that cocoon in the bot lane, just gonna heal himself up pretty nicely. And it seems like blue side today is just the side to have ward. Immunity have such good ward presence around the map, but some of their wards, especially that ward on the dragon area, not as effective as it could be. You do have sweeping lens for some of that vision clear, and I feel like pinking the dragon now, the dragon and the baron, is a little bit waste of resources with only having 5 available throughout the entire map.
Yeah, a little bit, but we can see actually engage in the bot lane. There's a dazzle onto Rosie. They're going to focus this one out. He flashes over the flame chompers, and that will mean Rosie gets out. Also, those flame chompers coming out of Trash Boat there to try and stop him. That snare not quite going to land though, but this could be an opportunity to push the mid lane. Smiley Face comes out. Nice dodge by Radiant with the relentless pursuit. His E, the dash, gets out nice and easily.
Yeah, he is going to use that very long-range ult coming out from Wild. Joshi is just going to that out. It's on a 90-second cooldown. He's not hugely worried about using that to help this siege go along. But we are seeing this bot lane a lot more even than I think Immunity would like it. Raider, their star player, really rushing towards that Bloodthirster on Lucian, not for the Triforce that we see, a lot of other AD carries go on, and he's just going to get matched up by Jinx. And I think Lucian against Jinx with both Bloodthirsters, I kind of like Jinx in that matchup.
Yeah, I have to agree. And Raider did go for the Triforce rush in his semifinals match that he got to play Lucian, and maybe he's just decided to switch it up for this one. Doesn't really feel he needs that aggressive build that the Triforce kind of goes with. But in the mid lane, we're seeing a gang on a Swiffer. Cocoon gets dodged. Shockwave going to land on a Joshi, and that's going to force him to flash back as well. Chelpster as well takes a bunch of damage, but Swiffer just a bit scared to jump into this one just yet. So it's a complete disengage there. No one's going to fall over.
Yeah, Swiffer not really confident in his ability to take that, and he's sitting at 2-0. Not having the confidence to go in on engages is not something you want to see. He really should be confident where he is. We do see the engage onto Charlie though in the bot lane.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. Solar Flare to try and save him, still trying to get him down, and it will be Lucian picking up that kill there. Rady going to be happy with that. Second kill of the game for him, and this could be the bot tower going down. There is no kind of saving grace from Joshi from that mid lane. He can't come down to help it. There's a nice tower pick up there as well for Immunity, I feel.
Yeah, Immunity gonna take that turret, and he is currently sitting on he's sitting at 2.7 thousand gold at the moment now that they take down that turret. He's gonna go back, he's gonna be able to pick up that Bloodthirster and pick up the Phage, and that is gonna be a huge power spike for him, as we do see Bloodthirster being possibly picked up by Trashboat as when he does respawn. No, he's currently seeing 1400. He is in lane, so when he goes back, he's also going to pick up the Bloodthirster. But we're seeing Lucian go for a pickaxe, completely avoiding Triforce, it seems, and a questionable decision, I'm going to say, onto a Lucian who really does benefit from that with his passive.
I'm going to kind of withhold my judgment because we've seen, well, Radio currently in this game 2-0-0 right now. He's doing pretty hot. But then again, Radio, he's definitely a known player. Definitely one of the best AD carries in Australia, if not all of Oceania. So I'm going to leave him to his build right there, and we'll see how it plays out. Although, I do like the rush from Leona going straight to that Talisman of Ascension. You can see definitely helping these bot lane ganks. They can engage onto them and disengage very quickly. And as a result, you can see Tarek trying his hardest to get his, but he's a little bit behind on the gold right here, just because of that global gold that's been coming out for Immunity.
Yeah, sitting at about 1200 gold behind, and that is pretty important. The Talisman is such a big pickup. It's essentially acting as Australia's the active, giving you that extra 40% move speed. Just allows you to chase pretty much anyone that you want to. But and that's very important, especially for engaging and disengaging. And you know, since it is an area of effect aura, it does affect, you know, people who are engaging, disengaging. We are seeing aggression in the mid lane.
Swiffer's, yeah, he's in a bit of trouble there, actually. No, it's going to be Little Wraith in trouble, and Joshy just gets melted right there from Swiffer. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Joshy being caught out by the,
Oh, and Charlie now in trouble as well, gets caught out, and this is just Swiffer taking people out right now. Chelsea as well needs to be a bit careful. I am just pushing this one out, and this game still just feels very, very weird. Chelsea takes a lot of damage there as well. Dodges out the cocoon, and the solar flare does get away. Porky now joining, but Swiper's coming too. Porky needs to be careful. Pops a Ragnarok, and this is going to be a dead Porky if he's not careful. Ignite still ticks. He does survive it in the end, and Swiper still surviving, diving as well, but Radio actually picked up a kill there onto Olaf. Round the back, did manage to find it with the culling, I suppose, but can't get the kill onto Trashboat just yet. Blaze gonna miss as well. Trashboat running so hard, does get out. Spooks as well as Radio. Low on mana, need to try and escape. Joshy wants to pick up this kill, but I am gonna collapse on them, and this could be pretty bad here for Little Wraith's mid laner and support. Charlie gonna be in trouble, but it's Josh who's gonna get focused at the start of this one. Shield's coming out as well, gonna save the support coming out there, but Charlie will fall over. This fight is just a mess, Bane.
Yeah, it's just so much of a mess. I mean, the double kill does come. Chelsea is gonna pick up that double kill and get hit on though.
Yeah. Or is he just going back in? They pick it up. Trashboat's going to pick up this kill onto Spooks there. Easily finds it. Where's that zap when you need it? Gonna be dodged out by Rosie. Good job there. The flaming chompers are available. Just gonna miss though, and Rosie just still walking out of this one pretty lazily. Turns around a little bit, thinks about it, backs out, but you know, that team fight was all over the place.
Yeah, that was a very messy team fight, both teams, and Immunity really picking up the better trade in that. A 4 for 3 it was in end, and having 3-1 in turrets. They're in a pretty commanding spot at the moment, but you know, it's not all over and done. It is a 5,500 gold lead for Immunity, and that's going to really help them push through these team fights, especially, you know, having a frontline tank like Renekton, who's just going to be able to absorb damage up until the end of time. Essentially, he's going to be so tanky. You know, if they can push back Little Wraiths consistently again and again, they will be able to find and deny the picks that Little Wraith want to find, that Evelyn, that Olaf want to find, the 1v1s, the 2v2s. Immunity could definitely end this game fairly convincingly.
Yeah, I think the thing here though for Evelyn right now is that Chelbster, you know, he's at 79 CS, almost 80. So you're going to face check here against Swift. It's going to take so much damage, and man, that is just brutal for him. Face checks abortion, gets absolutely deleted there, and you know, that's just kind of painting the story of this game right now. That is not a play we would usually see out of these guys.
Yeah, definitely not. And it's like, you know, Immunity are doing very well to keep the vision control over Little Wraith here, and Little Wraith just need to really make sure that they don't fall behind in vision like that again, because we saw it in the first game, you know, their vision control was completely perfect, but now they are doing everything they can to try and get the vision out. They do have 2 pink wards on the map.
Yeah, and Spooks is going to get caught out here. Easy kill pickup right there for IM. They're re-engaging though, and Charlie gets absolutely deleted by Swiffer. Lots of damage as well. On to Swiffer, they're trying to chase him down. Second undertow going to land, but they need to be careful. Oh, there's a damage with a super mega death rock. A trash boat. Not going to pick that one up though. It's Olaf that grabs that kill. Radia, it's a bunch of damage. And Joshy actually having a bit of a power spike despite his score. A bit painful there with those bombs. Not going to find anything else, and they need to deal with Swiper in that top lane. But, you know, a nice 2-piece coming out there for Little Wraith.
Yeah, and that's really what they needed to do. Find those short duration, high intensity fights. That's where they really excel. Evelyn, Olaf, Zeeks, Jinx even, all excel at finding picks, you know, all within, you know, 10 seconds of each other. And that's what they did there. They chained together those kills, and that was really well done. Trashboat and Olaf doing their their execute and true damage. Just deleting Swiffer there, and I think he went from about 60% health to 0, you know, almost instantly.
Yeah, but you know, unfortunately for Little Wraith, that's not something that's going to be too easy to pull off again, because as Swiper gets more involved in these fights and Rosie starts to pick up those items, there's going to be a huge front line to deal with, and you know, obviously Trashboat's going to have to try and melt that one down, and right now he's in a position to do that, I guess. He's sitting at about 6,000 gold, 6,500, so he's the, you know, second, third richest on his team right there, but it's still going to be hard. Swiffer, you can see, also sitting there looking for another catch. Very Fnatic-esque. Will he find it? It's a question. Rosie going to flash. Misses Zenith Blade as well. Bit of a waste there, but the Flame Choppers come out. There's the Solar Flare, and Trashboat's in trouble. Gets absolutely destroyed by Swiffer. Still worth it in the end. Rosie happy with that outcome.
Yeah, Rosie is going to be pretty happy with that outcome. I think having to use the flash and the solar flare, not really what he wanted, but they're going to take that. They're going to be pretty happy with that. Going to give them the ability to push up towards this inhibitor, the middle inhibitor turret. As they do get that inhibitor down, it will be much easier for them to siege. Swiper is just going to jump over that wall. Looks like he might want to go aggressive onto Charlie, but Little Wraith look like they want to turn this around and try and fight 4v5, which is probably not preferable for them.
Yeah, they're going to get kind of flanked here by Swiper and Spooks. If they can get into this fight, it could go south very quickly for Little Wraith, but you know, there's the engage. Comes out the ultimate from Chelpster as well. Rosie's going to get melted, but there's a shockwave into the culling. Lots of damage coming out from Immunity. Spooks on the run though. It looks like they're actually trying to escape this fight, but no, they're just baiting it out. Trashboat's going to fall over as well as Olaf, and Immunity with a huge win there. They're all so low, but it's a triple. P's coming out. Joshy as well. They're going to turn into a quad. It's a triple kill for Lucian.
Yeah, and exactly when you know it's a good fight is when everyone comes away from the fight, those flashing red bars, and really, Little Wraith turned into that fight when they didn't need to. They lost the fight pretty comprehensively, and re-engaging on
Oh,
it.
Swiffer! It just pops out with all of those shields, man, and then Chumps is just going to fall over, so a little bit unfortunate for him.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the damage that he needs. Doesn't have the DFG finished up yet, and is not gonna really have the damage to nuke someone, especially not having that ult up as well. And I think Little Wraith at the moment are giving away kills that they don't have to. They engaged onto that fight that they didn't really have to. They could have given up the turret. They could have wasted their cooldowns on immunity and backed off, but they chose to turn and try and re-engage. You know, Porky trying to get into the team with the Ragnarok, and a little bit too greedy there. And I think once you give immunity, you know, you give immunity the finger, a finger, and they are going to take the entire arm, and that's what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is the stock standard immunity play we usually see. Just, you know, strong, consistent play throughout the game from early to mid to late, just playing it out. And, you know, this is just a bit of a steamroller in the sense that it's not a crushing victory, but rather it's a slow, steady one that's just kind of creeping up here on Little Wraith. Charlie's going to face check, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Flashes the wall, repel from Spooks to try and get onto him. Culling as well comes out, does pick him up on the end there. Nicely done from Radia. Takes a bunch of damage, but there are just more shields coming out here as well. Spooks kind of escaping down south as well. He's an undertow, and that might be enough with Ignite. Not quite. It's a double for Lucian. Could be a triple. It is. Is he going to try and chase on for the quad or Penta? No, he's just going to push onto that mid lane, and this is going to be immunity clearing out the base.
Yeah, immunity are now just going to be able to this middle inhibitor fairly safely. Joshy and Trashboat not really going to be able to defend that well. They have a lot of wave clear between them, but not enough to deal with all five members of immunity. Trashboat said so low though. Oh, yeah, taken so low there, and that just shows how much damage Swiffer is doing at the moment. 9, 2, and 10, 10, 1, and 3 on Radier. They are sitting very Charlie!
Oh man, Swiffer's just like, oh, you know, I'll take a kill on my way out as well. Throws out the shockwave, easily picks that one up, and you know, 22-7 right now. Little Wraith pretty much just looking at the game 3 now. What can they change up to make sure this doesn't happen again? And we'd be lying to say that there's a real opportunity right now, because it'd have to be a throw, and a pretty epic one out of immunity. You can see Swiffer, you know, he wants to go back, but he doesn't need to. He's so far ahead. He is 10 and 2. Incredible score right there.
Yeah, and he is getting so much better from the turnaround in game 1. Game 1, we did see Swiffer get 5. He was holding a KD of about 1, but not really the Swiffer we seeing. Raider is just going to jump in there, throw aggression on Porky, and a fair bit of damage already. And against a tanky opponent like Porky, that's not something Little Wraith want to see So looks like they are going to try and siege up onto this turret, and if they can get that down with super minions flooding in from the mid as well, they're going to get this 4v5 as the engage goes out.
Yeah, nice cocoon as well to Josh in the backline to start that one out. Rosie going to eat the ultimate coming out of Ziggs, but it's not going to be enough. Swiper just taken low as well, and actually Little Red defending this one nicely. They might be able to pick up a couple of kills in this fight, but no, there's Swiffer, instant double kill as he throws out the dissonance with that attack move, and you can see Immunity just clean this one. Oh, he goes in for the triple. Shields come out as well. He's going to pick up the quad. Can he go for the penta is the question. Porky just running away. It's going to be the kill going to Red. He picks that one up, and that's revenge for the penta that was stolen from him in game number 1 of their semi-finals. This will be Immunity picking up game number 2 of the grand finals here for Go4LoL November. 1-1 now in the series.
Yeah, and a very, very impressive by Immunity. Swiffer is running onto the pad there. We do see the GG come out, and the surrender does go through. I didn't see the pre-explosion, the double explosion. I'm sad. But Swiffer ending the game 14-11. That is a crazy, crazy score from him.
Yeah, and Rosie too, perfect support score as well, 2-0-13. He did fantastically with Radiant down there. Radiant 10-1-7, and man, that was just a crushing win there from Immunity. And we'll see what, Little Wraith can turn out in the last game. So we've had, 2 great victories from both of these guys now in this series. So stay with us. We'll be right back with game number 3 here for the Go4LoL November Finals. My name is Place. I'm here with Mr. Baneblade. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Go4LoL November Finals here in Oceania. It's a beautiful night, although I can't see because it's nighttime. But hey, Grand Finals, game number 3 coming up right now. My name is Place, and I'm casting this one with Mr. Baneblade, and 1-to-1 in this series between Immunity and Little Wraith. This one's going to be huge. Couple of target bans coming out here straight away, so let's jump into it.
Yeah, definitely. And you called it at the beginning. This is going to be a 2-1 series, and it is going to be close no matter what. First game, pretty one-sided towards Little Wraith. They looked like they were in pretty good control over the game. And second game, Immunity stepped it up, and they brought the firepower, and they got a pretty convincing win there. We are seeing pretty targeted bans all across the board. Little Wraith banning out the Lucian, the Orianna, and the Kassadin. Tugging at it, Radiant and Swiffer mostly. Gragas and Elise being taken away, while Joshi no longer going to be able to play the Gragas or the Orianna. Both of those taken away. And just a quick shout out to Mr. Alex Penn, who is on stream in the chat. I'm sure we love having the celebrity in the chat.
Couple down there today, but it's going to be the lock-in instantly there of Nidalee for Wild Joshi in that mid lane, and this is a champion that really got Little Wraith to where they are now through the month of Go4LoL, and not surprised to see that one picked up at all. It was actually open to him in the last game, if I recall correctly, or perhaps not, but regardless, Joshi's going to be happy with that comfort pick, and this time around, Raider looking to go with that Jinx pickup, taking it away from Trashboat. I didn't want to ban it out, so they're just going to pick it instead. Of course, that doesn't leave Lucy in there because obviously Little Wraith have banned that, so they're going to be in an interesting situation. They're not going to lock in the Jinx at the end of it. I kind of just get trolled out on that one, but regardless, it's going to be the Shyvana, and it's going to be the Evelynn.
Yeah, and Nidalee, really, really good pickup. Joshi is a very good Nidalee, and that is going to be a great pick. Little Wraith having a comfort pick onto Wild Joshi is really, really important, and if Chelpster can make that early game aggression that he's so good at, if he can get that, if he can get the first blood into that lane and try and snowball Joshi ahead, that's going to be important. That's going to be so important. I said in the first game that first blood would come in that mid lane, and I think again it's going to come in there. I think we are going to see an aggressive jungler from Chelpster to really help those lanes out, and with Jinx being open, maybe Trashboat will go for that, but with Spooks hovering over it for so long, you know, never know if it's a bait or not.
Yeah, mind games like going on between these guys, but you know, I feel Little Wraith are going to stick to their guns here. Locking in that Lee Sin is interesting there for Chelpster. Well, a couple other champs that he's been hovering around. It's going to be the Mordekaiser, so that's probably a placeholder again, guys. Don't get too ahead of yourselves, but I'll quickly find out what that one's about. Locked in the Leona as well, so that one's definitely targeted at getting it from Rosie. He played fantastically in that second match of the series with Leona, so they're only going to be super confident taking that one away, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, and I love the Mordekaiser as the placeholder both games. Very, very good pick. I think they should just play that competitive jungle Mordekaiser. Let's bring it on. That would be amazing, amazing to watch.
Alright, so it's a placeholder for Jinx, and I guess that makes a lot of sense. We kind of expected that one.
Yeah, and Jinx Leona is a very good lane. The catch, once Leona does jump onto them with that Zenith Blade, is just going to destroy the bot lane from Radiant. If she can jump onto Radiant, if Charlie can jump onto Radiant and allow Trashboat that 2 seconds of free damage, it's going to really, really help keep Radiant in check essentially in that bot lane, and that's going to really be important. And that's, I think, the Ezreal pickup there is so important against that Leona. Not going to really be able to jump onto him as easily.
Yeah, that's definitely true there, and we'll see if there are any kind of lane switch ups here as a result of that out of immunity. Well, sorry, out of Little Wraith, but it's going to be could be a Jax pickup. And now that's something interesting because I'm not sure how that one's going to fare against the Shyvana in the 1v1. And again, you know, that Lee Sin that they hopped over earlier on, looks like it's going to be the jungle there for Little Wraith. So an interesting team comp coming out, definitely down that poke engage kind of lineup. But you know, I'm kind of interested in how Immunity is going to play out. It's very similar to their game one setup there, where they had, you know, very quick engage and disengage, lots of mobility, but less focused on that wombo combo. And I feel the wombo combo works well for Immunity, but they haven't really gone for it here.
Yeah, definitely. The wombo combo seems to be the Immunity's way of playing things. They don't have their mid laner just yet. They are still going to pick that up, unless they do see an Evelynn in the mid lane, which hasn't been done for quite a long time. It's probably unlikely, but Rosie going to pick that mid laner up for Swiffer, and I think that's going to be a pretty important pick. You have to be able to deal with the split push and the harass that's going to come out from that Nidalee. And with Gragas and Orianna being banned out, Syndra has been left through though. Syndra could be picked up here. Syndra can deal with a Nidalee, like just being able to instantly burst down a Nidalee with that Unleash pack is getting hovered over. So Swiffer very comfortable on Syndra and a very good pickup. Yeah, they're going to lock it in. That's a very, very scary lineup for Immunity, and
yeah,
whilst it doesn't have a wombo combo, there's a lot of just raw damage.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here was Swiffer wasn't able to play that Syndra in game 1 and game number 2. It was banned out against him, so, you know, now that Little Wraith have let that through, we'll see if it's that thing to come and bite them back. And if anything is to show for Swiffer's Syndra, it's CG Pro League finals that we saw earlier on, and also their semi-finals match to get him here in the finals, and it was definitely scary.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see Wild Joshi playing up against Swiffer at mid lane when Swiffer's on, you know, what you would consider his one big comfort champion, the champion that you pretty much fear to give him. It's almost universally banned out against Swiffer, even before Syndra was considered a strong meta pick. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Joshi pick that up over him. The Caston and the Orianna bans going out in favor of it. And we're still seeing Caston banned out pretty consistently, and I think that's not going to change anytime soon, especially with how strong he is and the mana refresh he gets on his ult now.
Yeah, and I think it's just Immunity in particular. They love that kind of team comp. And, you know, we've seen from the Korean scene, obviously, the new famous Lucian Nidalee combo, but, you know, Immunity really put a spin on that with the Lucian and the Caston, just going for lots of mobility and tons of cleanup as well. So, you know, banning out both of those champions is definitely the approach that Little Wraith took here, but, you know, they've let a lot through, as we've been talking about the Shyvana as well. And, you know, Swiper and the Shyvana against Porky, I'm not sure how that matchup's going to go, but I kind of feel like Jax is going to struggle early on.
Yeah, Jax is going to not have this same sort of damage potential as Shyvana. We'll be able to trade fairly nicely. It's going to be quite close, but we've seen that. I've said that about all of them so far, and Swiper has just taken it to Porky. But Swiper does play that very aggressive lane, and we've seen Chelsea use that to his advantage. And if he can get that pick up in the top lanes, Jax is a very big snowball champion. I mean, you know, if we've seen him a lot for the last few patches. Impact especially making him very well known in the finals, the 3-0 sweep that they got. So definitely not a champion you want to get a couple of kills onto early.
For sure, and I think the lineup for both of these teams here is very scary, all the snowball potential that they offer. And, you know, I think both games number 1 and 2 have really come down to the jungle pressure, because game number 1 we saw Chelbster with some huge plays in the mid lane that got Joshi going on that Gragas. Then game number 2 we saw the opposite with obviously Spooks definitely taking Immunity to their lead. But this time round, I'm going to go for broke here and say that It's going to be down to those jungles again. The level 1s have definitely gone in the favor of Immunity both times around, so they'll probably be going for that one again, I'd have to say. But Chelpster this time on Lee Sin, definitely a very competent Lee Sin player. Spook's definitely a very competent Evelyn player here, so, you know, this is going to be an interesting lineup. Very aggressive junglers for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think both teams recognize that, and I would not be surprised to see Little Wraith try and force a 2v1 in that lane. Leona is such a good 2v1 champion that if you do find that catch, you can just focus that one person down. And Mr. Shyvana, who doesn't have the same escape ability as Raider with that Ezreal, I think that's definitely something they should be trying to get. Trashboat will be able to nuke down Swiper so quickly, and Chelps are on that Lee Sin. They are going to be able to take a turret so much faster than Ezreal and Evelyn. Evelyn, you know, having the AP, not quite the same damage output that Chelps is going to have. So I think they could really abuse a 2v1 if they do get that matchup correct.
Yeah, I definitely agree here, and I think the roam as well that would come out of that, obviously Trashboat and Charlie, tons of kill and catch potential there that Immunity would have to be scared about, and I think the quicker you can get Jinx out of that laning phase with this team comp into a lane with Nidalee, start sieging down those towers, it's going to be incredibly hard to deal with that. But then again, you know, if Swiffer gets ahead, which is a good chance he will here, simply because he's such a good Syndra player, and Spooks will surely help him out in lane a bunch, it's going to be very hard to clear waves as well. So, you know, it's very back and forth for both of these guys, and it kind of depends a lot on that early game and which mid lane or which bot lane kind of goes which way. It'll be interesting to watch, especially.
Yeah, definitely. So this is going to be the third game of the finals. This is going to be the decider. I am incredibly keen to see this. We have been given an incredible show. Immunity dropping the first game.
Yeah.
In a fairly spectacular game as well. I mean, literally really pulled out some trump cards there. I think Wild Joshi on that Gragas was something to really commend in that. But the second game, Swiffer on Rihanna, you know, I think they're just having battle of the mids at the moment. This is going to be, I think this is probably going to be the closest game so far. Both teams really are geared for aggression, and they're going to at all stops for this game.
Yeah, and I think, you know, talking about that mid lane as well, you know, the battle of the mid lane, I feel game number 1, Joshi was on his number 1 champion, that Gragas. Game number 2, Ziggs, you know, probably put that in his 3rd or 4th most played, most comfortable champion here, but Nidalee is definitely his number 2, maybe even the number 1 there with Gragas, so, you know, expect big things here out of Joshi, and I feel Chelpster as well is going to, you know, definitely focus his game in on that mid lane like he did in that first match. It's what works for Little Wraith, so they're probably going to stick to it here in the game number 3. We'll see how this level 1 goes out. Immunity actually not going for anything aggressive, complete defense there.
Yeah, Raider does eat a spear to the face from Wild Joshi. He is gonna take that. He's probably gonna have to go back. Actually, he lost about a 5th of his health, so probably will have to go back. He's just standing there doing a dance at the moment. He doesn't look too concerned at all, and a very defensive start from Immunity, taking that human line of scrimmage really just to make sure that Little Wraith aren't invading anywhere, and if they do invade, they know exactly where they're coming from. And we are seeing Charlie up in that top lane, could be indicative of that lane swap, and I think that's really going to benefit them. That's really going to benefit Little Wraith over Immunity. Immunity Swiper isn't going to have the same sort of 2v1 potential that Jax does. Jax being very good at that. Once they hit the tower, he can get those, get his empowered strike onto it, and of course the Relentless Assault, which he can stack up. That makes him very effective at taking minions under turret. So, I'm gonna stack this in favor of Little Wraith.
We'll have to see, and I think one unintended consequence to kind of look out for here will be, you know, Chelpster's not going to be able to go for any kind of big plays on the mid lane anymore. He's going to be more looking towards that, his solo lane, and make sure that he's surviving that 2v1 okay and doesn't get tower dived, or, you know, doesn't have his tower die in the first 5 minutes kind of thing. So, you know, Joshi here is going to be a bit more on his own like he was in the second match, and it's a little bit of an unintended consequence. Chelpster actually going for this red buff. Charlie as well. I like this setup. They're two-manning it to try and force Spooks out of his early game. He gets spotted out. Both sides see that one. And so Chelpster's going to pick up that red buff.
Yeah, Chelsea's going to get that red buff. He's probably going to head topside after that as well. And 3v1 push that turret. And Shanna, with only one point into that burnout, isn't going to have the wave clear to stop them pushing this out. They could even try and proxy this out. And Swiper's really going to have to leave. Otherwise, he risks being jumped on here. And, you know, with Lee Sin taking a turret shot, though, that's going to relieve a lot of pressure. He could going for golems, actually. And pause coming
that really ices the play that Little Wraith were trying to pull off there, and you can see Spooks and Rosie kind of just pull off the exact same move that just they had to endure there. They're going to move down to that red buff, steal it away for Spooks, and so that kind of just evens it out across the map there, and it's very unfortunate that Little Wraith couldn't get more off it, but at the same time, you know, very clear-headed from Spooks just to not be phased at all, head off to the red and know what he needs to do.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Chelsea could stay around. He could definitely try and get that fight. If they do dive onto him, Leona is a very potent dive in the early game. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does stay around. If they can try and pull off that first blood and take that very early turret, and we're going to see the next 60 seconds of the jungling are going to be so critical as to how the game is, or how the push is going to unfold for both teams.
Alright, so pause is just to resolve quick connection issue there from these guys. They'll get it sorted out quick. We've had about one pause a game and that's been it, so I've got to say it's probably been a fairly good cast, I have to say, for these best of 3 series. But you know, this game is very early on, and as we were talking about Leona in that top lane, she is only level 1, so I kind of question whether they're going to go for a dive that soon onto Swiper, who does have Ignite and Flash available, so I feel it's going to be fairly passive early game from Little Wraith here, just to start things out. Obviously that 2v1 is going to be pushing up hard, as well as immunities to get that early tower, but you know, just red buff swaps here from both of these junglers going to slow them down a bit.
Yeah, they're both gonna trade over those red buffs. Evelyn's gonna pick that up. She's not gonna be too far behind, and if they do go down to that 3v1 down the bot lane onto Jax, try and get Porky out of his comfort zone, they could definitely look to try and take that turret. Evelyn is going to have a lot of wave clear, could proxy that wave pretty effectively on her own with the with her hate spike. She can clear waves fairly effectively with the red buff as well, so that could definitely swing in favor of immunity, especially after Chelsea did eat that turret shot and is going to probably have to go back. So Little Wraith might have shot themselves in the foot with this 3v1 or 2v1.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You know, we did think it was going to be in Little Wraith's favor, but maybe not so. All still, you know, it's really hard to do the analysis on these games, obviously, in the 3-minute mark, because you're pretty much relying on almost no information because the game is so young. Obviously, not many wards out either for these guys, so the vision and the kind of positioning around the map is just, you know, not going to really be an influence just yet, apart from that one ward on the on Spooks' red buff there in the topside jungle. So as this one counts down, we fill it in. Players kind of just chatting amongst themselves as they wait for the reconnect. Not much we can really talk about, is there, Payne?
No, not really, but we can definitely talk about how this series has gone out. I mean, game 1, spectacular style, and spectacular style. Just the banter coming out in the old chat is quite comical. The game 1 really was an absolute show of how good Little Wraiths can be when they play to their A game, and when Little Wraiths bring their A game, it showed that even immunity can falter under that. So that's, you know, that's showing, and if they can bring that game to game 3, they're really going to be able to keep immunity on the back foot. I mean, Joshi on that Nidalee, it is his second comfort champion. It's something that he likes to play, and while Swiffer also has that, has Syndra, that comfort pocket champion that he loves to play, normally banned out against him, it's going to be a very, very interesting game for them, and we've seen it go both ways. We saw Wild Joshi fairly convincingly win game 1, and Swiffer very convincingly win game 2. So we are getting back into the game. Play will resume in 3, 2, and 1, and finally, after a little bit of a pause, get back into the game.
Alright, so no dive in the top lane just yet. Lee Sin gonna back off. That was kind of what we were talking about at the start of that one. If you were just joining us, and of course, if you are just joining us, this is the Go4LoL finals here for the Oceania region. November finals, that is, of course. And Spook's looking for a dive on this bot lane as well, coming around for Porky. Has the double buffs. A little bit dangerous to try and dive this one, I feel. Lulu, only level 2, doesn't have that whimsy just yet to kind of start that one out, but gonna definitely help get the damage down on this turret, and they need to kind of keep up with that top lane.
Yeah, definitely. But Jax is going to have that have the Relentless Assault, going to have that attack speed if he does choose to hit the minions repeatedly. And Jax has such a satisfying sound when he hits those minions. And turrets. It's a very, very satisfying sound of lamp against minion.
Interesting sound indeed. I kind of wonder how they get those sounds made. I'm sure it's vastly more complex and interesting than we could imagine here. But, you know, Joshy's just going to have that wave pushed in on him. Going to be able to CS nicely there. But, you know, bit of a lead coming out for Swiffer already until that creep wave has been picked up. Bit of a tussle there between Chelbster as well as Spooks. Nothing really being thrown each way there.
Yeah, and despite the 2v1s, pretty standard 2v1 setups at the moment. You know, top and bot are being pushed in pretty heavily. Jack's trying his best to keep the lane pushing away from his turret as best he can to give time for Trashbird and Charlie up in that top lane to really get some damage down onto that turret. Turret taking about the same damage, bot turret slightly lower. Counter-Strike for Jax is going to be so good at getting those waves cleared though. Not being able to take damage when he does jump, that is such an important feature. One of the reasons you do put Jax into that 2v1.
Yeah, but I have to say right now, you know, Immunity definitely burning that tower down. It's only got 900 health left to about, you know, 1600 on the top lane. So Swiper doing a really good job in this 2v1, actually, defending it out nicely. And I think it's just the range poke that Lulu can put down, making Jax have quite a tough time.
Yeah, definitely. We are seeing Chelbster. Oh, Swiffer taking that spear in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Now seeing the dive on the top lane though. Charlie jumping onto Swiper. Does have the ignite put down onto him. They're going to force the
There's
flash.
a Sonic Wave though. Rosie is in a bit of trouble as well. Ignite's coming onto Chelbster. It's going to be Immunity turn this one around. Trade for trade coming from both sides. First blood's going to go to Jax on Porky. Radiant needs to pick this one up for the big worths. Not sure if he's going to be able to do it just yet. Porky just trying to run there. It will be a kill for Raider, I think. Oh, he's going to dodge the Mystic shot. Ease forward with the Arcane Barrage. Oh, there's a tower shot. Almost another. Oh, not quite with the barrier. So tense right there for a moment, but Radiant pulls it out.
Yeah, and that was so close. Counter-Strike was literally just coming off cooldown. And I think if he got that Counter-Strike up, that was a kill. He played that so well. Porky, sorry. Really impressive play there. And if he managed to get that way, I think he would have definitely taken the MVP status right there. But this is given time for Little Wraith in the top lane to really take this damage, the turret down. They're going to get the first turret, and Charlie's going to survive as well, and they're going to get a kill onto Swiper off this as well.
Charlie needs to be careful. He doesn't want to eat a flame breath there, but Trashboat actually flashes forward for that one. He's now very low as well. There's the zap, gets dodged, and Swiper gets out, almost picking up a double. Actually, he did pick up a kill there onto Leona. I think Leona died to minions. Oh god.
Yeah, I'm going to presume he died to minions. That's pretty embarrassing for Charlie. We do see Spooks is coming up from behind Trashboat. This is going to be a certain kill. There he is. There is no way.
Yeah, and that has gone terribly for the top lane for Little Wraith. You know, dying to minions and then just getting cleaned up like that is just very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not what they wanted. And Shyvana and Evelyn, Spooks and Swiper are going to be able to push out this top lane very, very quickly. Hate Spike is dealing quite a significant amount of damage and on very short cooldown at the moment. And with the Shyvana burnout as well, being able to clear waves so incredibly quickly, they're going to start damaging this top turret. And no one from Little Wraith is really getting to that top lane anytime soon.
Yeah, it's true. It's going to take a bunch of damage here. Not too much. There's Chelbster coming around. Going to land the Sonic Wave onto Spooks. Doesn't want to finish engaging. There's a resonating. Lots of damage, but he's actually face-checked a bunch. He has to kick back with the Dragon's Rage onto Swiper. Lots of damage onto Spooks. He does get picked up. Good little trade there from Little Wraith. You know, very, very scary moment for Chelbster as well. Charlie going to pick up that pink ward and
he
actually snipes him. Oh, from the bot lane too. That was an awesome shot right there coming out of Raider.
Oh, that was so good. That was such a good shot. And
Oh man. Oh man. I think the cameraman missed that one, unfortunately, but yeah, brilliant shot there from Radier, just taking a pot shot up at that top lane to snipe out Charlie as he got away. Did manage to find the kill, so fantastically done.
yeah, and that was a very, very good snipe from Radier, and he's just showing just how good of an Ezreal player he is. And so 2-5, Little Wraith.
Oh, she might be in a bit of trouble. Oh, never mind. Just going to take a bunch of damage there from Swiffer. Spears in return, and I am going for the Dragon early on in this game. 8-minute Dragon, I think it's the earliest we've seen in this series, but nothing too much to deal with. Porky needs to be a bit careful not to get caught out. Actually pings onto Swiffer in the mid lane. He's going to flash out of that Zenith Blade. Spear does land from Joshi, but Porky's actually engaging this fight onto Rosie. There's a counter strike. Doesn't get the stun. The slow comes out. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to find the mark. Nice spear onto Raider as well. Zap not going to find his target though. Radiant Arcane shifting away from that one. The chase is on. Lulu running as fast as a little yordle can, but meanwhile in the mid lane, I am going to push this tower down, and I don't think Little Wraith are making the right choice here. You can see half their team roaring back. Rosie trying to bait this one out as long as he can. It's not enough at all, but maybe it is because the mid tower is taking about half health. Here comes Little Wraith.
Yeah, Little Wraith, they're going to look to push this wave out. They're not going to quite get the turret in time, and that's going to allow Porky and Charlie to push this wave back in the bot lane and get it pretty close to that bot lane turret. So they're going to trade pressure around the map, and picking up a kill as well. It's definitely what they needed to try and close this scoreline out to as close as possible. And with Charlie and Porky in this bot lane being unanswered at the moment, I mean, Little Wraith confining immunity to the top half of the map, Jax, you know, he is a monster when it comes to taking turrets. So this is going to be a lot of damage, and Rosie isn't really going to be able to stop Jax when you're talking about a Lulu against a Jax.
Oh, but there's the engaged Dragon's Ascent as well as Spooks with the ultimate, and they come into this fight. Joshi as well goes into the Cougar, doesn't find the kill on the Spooks. No, he has to flash to get it as well with the Q in the Cougar form as well. Jelpster running away from Swiper. Spears just landing short as well. Nice safeguard to a ward as well. Jelpster's going to escape with his life, but you know, it's a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. Not sure if Joshi can defend this one for too long. Swiffer and Raider going to push that one down.
Yeah, and they're going to trade turrets, the turret for the mid turret. And Immunity are going to be pretty happy with that trade, going to 2-2 turrets. Oh, it does get blocked out. There
was nothing to really snipe for there, but ambitious try there from Trash Boat, trying to one-up Raider. I like it.
Yeah, we are seeing the AD cavalry. Trash Boat and Raider, probably two of the best ADCs in Australia at the moment. Maybe only comparable to the Uber Bros on Frenetic Array. So, I mean, we've had three of the definitely the top 3 ADCs in Australia play in this play in the best 3s that we've seen. One of them off stream, unfortunately. But a very, very impressive show of skill, and it's a pretty close game. Only 1.3k gold in it, and Immunity really need to get a bigger lead than that if they're going to try and out-damage this Siege comp.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and I think Joshi, while he's, you know, about 20 CS behind here, he's definitely had an alright early game here. He's picked up a kill in that last fight and assist earlier on as well, and you know, he's not doing too badly, and that's where the Siege comp really starts here for Little Wraith, and Jinx has done alright as well. Perhaps not the best, but you know, right now, apart from Jax, it's hard to say that Little Wraith are very ahead on any lane here. So the fact that they haven't lost more is, you know, a really good sign for them.
Yeah, and we do see Jinx is only just behind Ezreal on picking up that Bloodthirster. Did pick it about 30 seconds behind, but of course Ezreal... sorry, Jinx picking up the Bloodthirster behind Ezreal. Ezreal with the Berserker's Greaves going to give him a little bit of attack speed, but the attack speed steroid from Jinx going to match that up fairly evenly. And
yeah,
it's still a very, very close game. Trashbo is going to be able to output a lot of damage, and pushing in this top lane. It's not often you see the ADC as your split pusher, but Little Wraith used it. They've used it before, and they use it to very good effect. And they draw the junglers out and just rotate to another lane and push that wave. And as soon as they see Spooks, as soon as Spooks shows up somewhere, they're gonna push another lane as hard as they can.
Yeah, we'll have to see that rotation when it comes out, though. You can see Blue picked up by Joshy as well, so that could be the start of big things. But Spooks on the top lane is going to find on the Trash Boat. He's in trouble and tries to run away as well. Nice ultimate coming out. Lots of damage on a Swiper, but not sure if they're going to pick this one up. Spooks in trouble. He does find the kill, pays for it with his life. Swiper does as well. It's a 2-for-1. Nice bait there from Trash Boat.
Yeah, Trash Boat getting that 2-1 trade, picks up 2 assists as well. And they're going to really be able to take control of the top half of the map at the moment with no one there. While Joshy just being able to push back Syndra towards his turret as well. We are seeing Lulu rotate up towards it as Jenks does go down to clear bot wave, and it's a very, very close game.
Oh, that Zenith Blade flash by Charlie was very close there. Swiffer with another impressive dodge. You know, his flashes have been spot on all day. Hard to fault him on that at all. And you see Rosie now pushing around the side as well. Raider coming to the party. You see Porky and Trash Boat off in the side lane. So interesting positioning setup here from Little Wraith. I'm not sure if Immunity are looking for something to capitalize off this. No, perhaps not. They're going to back out. Not just yet ready to push those inner towers.
Yeah, and it is going to be hard to, it is very hard to siege against a siege comp that is on almost even gold ground with you, but Radiant trading very happily with Joshy there. He would trade for days auto attacks with the Nidalee on that Ezreal, so it is very hard to siege up against them, but once they do get that siege on, once they do get them up to that turret and backed off, they can all in very, very quickly. Spooks on the Evelyn and Swiper being able to Dragon's Descent in, going to be a nightmare for Little Wraith. Oh, Swiper though, Swiffer taking a fair chunk of damage from Nidalee Spears now.
Yeah, they are definitely hurting with only that Athene's Unholy Grail. So, you know, once those Sorcerer Boots are picked up, maybe a couple more AP items as well. You know, Joshy's going to be in a good position there. He's still about 20 CS behind, but I don't think he's too worried about that right yet. Radiant gets a bit of poke down on the Chelps, who was looking for an engage and actually might pay with his life. It was a bit of a misstep there. Charlie coming around to help him out. There's a true shot barrage. Nice safeguard to the teammate. He gets out, but a little bit of a mistake to start that one up. He's baited out Radiant, though, trying to get into a tussle with Charlie as well. There's a solar flare. Oh, Porky from behind. That was brutal. Comes in with the leap strike there, as well as the stun. And look at Swiper now, just trying to back out. So is Spooks. This is Little Wraith with a pretty good fight right here for them. It's going to be a flash by Spooks, so there's the disengage, but Dragon's up, and Little Wraith looks like they could be going for it.
Yeah, they do still have to deal with Swiper, who try and aggress onto this team. He can do a lot of damage. The Dragon's Descent is up. Yeah, it is up, sorry. And if he was to jump onto that team, he could do a heap of damage, a lot of them on, you know, fairly low health, Porky on about half. And this could give Immunity the Dragon, actually. They could look to take Dragon. Swiper is very, very tanky at the moment.
Yeah, that was a really, you know, odd turn of events there. It looked like they might... Looks like Little Wraith were going to be able to do it, but could be a turnaround. Nice Dragon's Descent. Porky can't really get the engage into the Dragon Pit that he would have liked with that Counter-Strike, and Little Wraith are on the retreat now. This has gone terribly for him. They're also low. Porky falls. Trash Boat, Ignite ticks, and one more Mystic Shot will do it. Chelpster, his only ally nearby, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it. Oh, nice little combo right into the Zenith Blade as well. That was amazing. Pillaged them right there, but Radiant turns it around. So much punch behind those hits. Joshy, though, with that Cougar, can catch him up. Gets him with the takedown, and that'll be the end of that fight for now. Swiffer, though, does find a stun. There's a slow as well. Oh, so much damage from the Unleashed Power, but Joshy in the Cougar form just melting people right now. Can he find another one? Because he's going wild right now.
And that is, that's right. You know, Nidalee.
What? Yeah, that's what we say there, because Joshy, that's the plays he makes there on the Nidalee. That's why he was banned out in the first couple games.
Welcome to the wild, Joshy. And
yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Very impressive play on that Nidalee. You know, there's a reason that we said that it's one of his comfort champions along with that Gragas, and he's proving it right there. And Little Wraith, there was an awkward and very prolonged and disjointed team fight, but taking it eventually at I think it ended up being a 6-for-5 in favor of Immunity.
Yeah.
I believe
really
it was 6-5. So very crazy fight, very interesting, and I think that just shows that with the gold lead being within 2,000 gold, we'll call it 2,000 gold. I think Immunity still holding a small advantage, but Little Wraith gonna really stepping it up and pushing this into Immunity, making them work for every effort that they get.
Yeah, and Rosie's being caught out as well. This could be another good engage. Oh, nice little chase there from Chelsea as well. And Solar Flare coming out of Leona, landing onto Swiffer and Spooks. Spear finds the target as well. That time onto Spooks. No zap coming in because Trashboat's a little bit late to the party, but Raider is as well finally arriving. Not sure if he can get in from this side of the map. It's a bit dangerous, and Charlie's onto him as well, getting ready to zone him out from this one. Perfect positioning from Little Wraith right now, but they're struggling to get into this. There's a Sonic Wave coming out of Chelpster. Doesn't want to follow it up. Oh, that Spear would have made him though if it did connect. Didn't quite though. Joshi and Co gonna push down this tower. Might be able to pick it up. I feel like they will. Immunity very, very nervous to get in on that one. Nice Spear gonna land on a radio, and that takes him to half health. Zap as well. That is brutal coming out from the side of Little Wraith, but there's the engage from Spooks. Very dangerous. Charlie actually going in there as well as Lee Sin. Lee Sin falls over, but they pick up a double for it. Totally worth it for the side of Little Wraith. Now can they push the next tower is the question here, because oh my gosh, another Spear hitting his target, and Joshi, oh, he's just going wild. That's all there is to say.
This is the power of poke comps. Even Swiper taking. Oh, they're gonna go in
Oh my gosh,
on this.
and Charlie's going in as well. Porky, and there's the kill. Charlie picks that one up. Well deserved. He is 4-2-5, and wow, what a combination coming out here for Little Wraith. This team comp really just lit up at about the 20-minute mark. They can't quite push the next turret. Blue buff will be available for Joshi to pick that one up in a moment, but man, that was a huge change in gameplay, Bane.
Yeah, and that's really, this is the power of team comp, the siege comps can really just turn on the engage and really ramp up that pressure. And they got 2 turrets of it. They went from 2,000 gold behind to 1,000 gold ahead, a 3,000 gold turnaround, and that's all from the Nidalee and the Jinx. They can just poke out for days, and when you combine that with a jump in from someone like Leona, who can lock someone up for so incredibly long, that's just a killer potential there. And we saw that. I mean, Swiper is supposed to be that frontline tank, and he melted. He was melted by the damage from Leona and Jax. That Nidalee Spear also doing a ton of damage, and you know, Immunity have to be pretty fearful right now that their frontline tank can't withstand the damage from 2 or 3 of the players of Little Wraith.
Yeah, and I think this kind of playstyle that Little Wraith bring to the table with, you know, the very aggressive poke comps, the high mobility, you know, I feel that's a very favorable playstyle against Immunity, who, you know, they like to play out games very solidly, you know, they want to take it safely. And against a poke comp like this, you know, you really have to be aggressive, take the fight to them and force the engages, and, you know, get out of that poke that you just have to withstand otherwise. So, you know, that's not the playstyle that Immunity have really liked or have got the team comp for right now. So, you know, that's probably why we're seeing a lot of these advantages coming out for Little Wraith. Lots of pings on this Baron though, and you see the vision definitely in the favor of Little Wraith. We'll see. You know, Immunity might actually try to start this one up. Swiper is tanky enough to try and duo that one out, which was seen a bit from Raider, but you know, there are a lot of options here for both of these teams.
Yeah, and both teams just getting that vision control at the moment. There are so many wards on this top side of the map. They both know that 20-minute mark, Baron is becoming an objective for both teams, and that's super, super important. Spook's hovering around in that river bush, but he has been spotted. The pink ward in that bush is going to give away his vision. Rosie now going to key onto the fact that there was a pink in that bush. Yeah. And Little Wraith on this blue side are just so good at warding. Raider!
Yeah.
Oh,
Fear didn't manage to take him out, but it was very, very close. Oh man. Yeah, Joshi, yeah, he's hitting these spears, and they are definitely hurting right now. He's got the death cap too, about 300 AP, and that's really what's packing the punch there. And it's surprising, you know, even with the change to the mechanics of the spear. Actually, we have to hold that thought because there's an engage. Swiffer is being caught out by a solar flare. Charlie went deep. Dragon's Descent coming out as well from Swiper. Can they pick up Joshi though? Pops into that Cougar to run away. This one's going well for Immunity. They might be able to pick up more. Nice stun coming out of Swiffer, but he does eat a spear for it, and now he's going to struggle to get in this, and this is where the fight turns. Porky to right. Oh, what a snipe as well. Nice counter strike from Porky. He picks up another kill, and this is just steamroll coming out for Little Wraith. If they pick up Raider here, it will be a 3-man pickup for only 1 death. It's a double for Porky, and they do it. Are they going to go for the Baron, or are they going to go for the base? Little Wraith are getting promoted to the Big Wraith right now.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And
yeah,
they are taking it to Immunity here. The pickup what Joshi got, the picking up the Nidalee for game 3, he left it in his pocket. and they're really shining with it. They've put Immunity onto the back foot, and I mean, this is game 3. This is the final match. If Immunity lose this, I think this will be the first time, and Pastry Time will happily correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
the first finals they've lost, like overall finals they've lost since WCG 2011. So that is a huge thing, and that's a scary prospect. I mean, Little Wraith coming into the scene literally less than 10 weeks ago, and to take down Immunity in a finals, and in such style, and they've done it in such style. Game 1, they never really lost their nerve. Game 2 was a bit shaky. They did look like they were not where they wanted to be, but game 3 they've really come back, and this game is so intense right now.
Yeah, starting to look more like game number 1, where we really saw a one-sided match coming out for Immunity early on, but then Little Wraith turned it on their head. So the question is, will it continue? That's the question on everyone's mind indeed. 16-13 and about a 3,000 gold lead for Little Wraith there. Well, the big Wraith as they push this one out, but Swipe is starting to get more tanky. You know, he's got that spectral, well, he's had that spectrals cow for a while, but he'll almost have that Spirit Visage soon, and that'll be a big peak for him. When will it be in time? That was the question. Immunity looking for a push here, especially as Chelpster has to roam back from that top lane, but it's not really going to be enough time for them.
And time is something they really need to do in the moment. Jax, you know, he's only going to get stronger. Literally, is only going to get stronger at pushing out those waves. Jinx also going to get stronger and stronger as time goes on. And there's not a lot Immunity can do about it. But we are at the inhibitor turrets, and inhibitor turrets are often the hardest to siege out. And do see the zap hitting onto Swipe. This could be a very long siege coming out by Little Wraith as they try to get try to break the stronghold of those inhibitors.
Yeah, and Charlie used his ultimate as well going into that. Swiffer was forced to flash, but there's the engage. I see Zenith is going to land onto Swiffer. Super Mega Death Rocket takes him super low, but actually it's Swiper and Spooks pushed into the team of Little Wraith. They're going to get melted out here, and you can see Joshy throwing spears from behind. Chelpster just damaging down onto Rosie as well. It's going to be picked up in the 3v1. It's a double for Jinx. It's an ace onto Immunity, and Little Wraith come out huge with that team fight. Going to pick up an inhibitor off the back of this one. Maybe more. We'll see what they can do, Bane, but this is huge.
They're going to take the middle inhibitor, and once that middle inhibitor down, it is going to be so hard to keep pressure. 6
seconds on Spooks, 8 on Swiffer. That's the first Nexus turret. Will it be the second? This is looking like it's going to be game, ladies and gentlemen. It's Little Wraith taking the Go4LoL November finals over Team Immunity in an epic 2-for-1 finals.
And that is huge. Little Wraith coming up massive in that second, the third game, I should say. That is, I am gobsmacked at the moment.
Raise your Little Wraiths, ladies and gentlemen, because they just played a killer series, and what an incredible way to end out this month of Go4LoL. Absolutely incredibly done. And you know, honestly, Little Wraith were a team that really only started to come around at the start of this month, so you know, what a way to get your name and your team and these players onto the map here. While Joshy, Chelpster, Porky, Trashboat, and Charlie 101, definitely a fantastic team right there. Twitch chat going nuts, and it is so well deserved. These guys have pulled off a fantastic finals.
Yeah, definitely. Little Wraith played exceptionally. I think game 1, game 3, they really showed that they had vision control under control. That was something they just took from Immunity, and I don't think any other team in the OCE region has been able to dominate vision like that, or in such ways. It's so incredible for it, and that's going to be completely, that's huge. And if they can continue that, you know, if they only get better from here, I mean, weeks together as a team, surely, you know, in 10 months time, that's going to be a scary team.
Yeah, and you know what else is that when we saw these guys in week 1 of this month, you know, we saw Little Wraith and they won it. They won that week of Go4LoL, and we said, man, these guys look super strong. And if this is, you know, their first couple of tournaments coming out here, I'm going to be amazed to see what they can bring out as they become more of a seasoned team here. And I think this is a turning point in Oceania Esports here. You know, are Little Wraith that team that are really going to put the fight to Immunity and push the scene forward? I don't know. You know, they're going to have to really take a couple more titles before that's true. This could just be a one-off. Time will only tell. But hey, that's going to wrap up tonight, guys, for Go4LoL. The November final champions are Little Wraiths. So raise your Little Wraiths in that chat there and tell them how proud you are of them, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Place, casting this one with Mr. Baneblade. Shout out to ESL as well for putting on such a fantastic finals. And we'll see you guys later.
Yeah.